We are live. It is Friday night. I'm excited. I love it when Friday nights break news. When we get news, I already had a full lineup of topics for you guys, but this is insane. This is absolutely insane. Late breaking news. You guys are seeing it right there in the title. I got an amazing panel here for you guys tonight. I hope you guys will enjoy it. Before we get started, though, please do, guys, take a second, okay? Hit that like button. Do the Mooch a favor. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. A really cool graphic comes up when you hit the subscribe button. It's worth it. It's worth it. We put the time in there. Hit the button. It takes 2 calories. All right, listen. Outstanding show tonight. You can see in the description down there, we talk about a little bit what we're going to get into. Right above that description is the join button. I want to thank all these guys. Those Mooch mugs are coming out there slowly but surely. The post office is really giving it to Mooch. I got news for you. But nonetheless, let me thank each one of these individuals one by one. The great Sir X Man, JudaZuk, WoolleyGamer, Frostbite Slash, Zombilla Ice Cream, CustodsX, Damion, JWE316, MumbleRanting Gaming, Tyson Web 509, All Round Gamer, TrueWiddy, Kn1ght Ripper7, Big Chuck 777, Alphonso Carter, Punkidish, the great Big Cloud Gaming, the great BRAP, Jamie, and our newest Mooch Maniac family member, Lady Foxfire. Go check out Lady's work. She's doing great work on YouTube now. Love it. Love having her back. Our major Mooch Maniac, SrgntSaltyNutz, SupremeSamurai, Donnell Brown, Smokes901, Tactical Gamer, That Guy Smitty, HumaCast, 4-Star General, Brian B, a.k.a. Delirium Blades, and our VIP Mooch Maniacs, Soleil Chilean, Forkboy Gaming, Sean Slompka, The Wise Old Gamer, Wendigo Rex, Brian Carter, Marty Bison, MXJ88, Remarkable Knights, The Great Percolator 9000, and our honorable mentions. We miss you guys. Hit that join button. Come back home. Rated D Demonic, Rich Kreiser, Ice Queen Gaming, Replicant, Ben Link, Rate the Emperor, Mr. Twister, Wilmy Hud, and our forever Mooch Maniac, Longshot 316. That being said, guys, tweet it out. I got that floating in the chat. You guys see the link? Let everybody know we're here. Not only everybody, let's get into this amazing panel. Okay? Because it's just going to be one of those conversations where the chat is going to be interacting with us all night long. Let's get right to it. The one and only, I'm not going to take too long here, and he hates long-winded introductions. The great Crap Gamer is here tonight, and he's been on fire on Twitter all day long. Crap, welcome back to the show, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing good. What's going on, everybody? Looking forward to the topics. It's looking good. It's looking good.
Absolutely, Crap, and I saw you going back and forth with a lot of great people, and, I got to be honest with you, even a lot of the Xbox guys were teaming up with you saying, Crap's got a point here. So I can't wait to get your take on some of these hot topics we got tonight, buddy. And then I got my buddy here also, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, who says he's going to go mellow tonight. I said, you don't go mellow. It's Friday. We get a lot of great people that are not going to allow you to be mellow. BRAP! How you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing well, Mooch. If I see, maybe if I see some shenanigans in the live chat, I'll get a little,
that's guaranteed.
Proud up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's almost
here, though,
a guarantee. And then I've got my buddy here. Listen, the voice of reason. I reached out to him on Wednesday. I believe it was Wednesday. He'll let me know if I was right or wrong. And I said, you know what? I've got an insane amount of people coming on the show. And there's going to be more people coming on the show as the night goes on, guys, by the way. But I said, I got to have somebody here to just kind of ring that bell and let people know when they got to throw the towel in. The great Eric Jackson is here, the voice of reason. Eric, welcome back to the show, buddy. How are you this evening?
Oh, man. Happy to be here. Man, I know it's been like a few weeks we've been trying to get it going again.
Yes.
It's like, we have good runs. We have like a run where it's like no problem, and then we have a run where it's like a problem every time. So, but I'm glad we were able to work it out, man.
Well, I'm glad you're here, E. So I appreciate it. Appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be here.
Anytime.
And then I got a buddy of mine here. You guys know him, okay? He was throwing salt out at 2:30 in the morning on Twitter. He's over in Arizona. I don't know what the hell he's doing over there. He's got a place right here in New York. That attitude, those voices, the great Saltiest Gaming Salt. Great to have you back on the show, buddy. And I couldn't have picked a better night than tonight to have you back on with these topics. How are you?
Hey, we're doing good, man. I'm trying out a new drink, Bud Light Seltzer, lemonade with strawberry lemonade, basically. It's pretty good, man. Anyway, that's not a promo, but did my first Twitter Spaces. It was fun. I had to talk about this, and then, hey, we're going to talk about it some more. Just interesting news from the Xbox camp. So it's good to be back, man. It's good to be back.
Absolutely, Salt, and it's great to have you back. And I got to be honest with you guys. This is exciting for me because last week, you guys know I promised you that King Thrash was going to be on the show, and we had technical difficulties. And I said, King, I will be damned if we don't get you on the next week. So me and King actually linked up this morning, met on Discord, went through some shit, still couldn't get the thing to work, and I don't even know how it's working right now. We still have no idea. but the great King Thrash is here from the round table. And Thrash, I got to be honest with you, one of the best intros in any video I've seen. Like and subscribe. Don't subscribe. Listen, if you wouldn't get pissed off, I'd like to copy that when I do a video. That is probably the best intro, period. But anyways, great to have the great King Thrash here. Thrash, how you doing this evening?
Pretty good. Well, I'm gonna change my name to King. Where the fuck is Xbot at Thrash? Because I don't see him up in here.
No, and you know what, King? Listen, I'm hoping he will stop in later. Okay, he knows what's going on. He works on every other Friday, so he was here last Friday. He's not here technically, but that doesn't mean he won't jump in around 8:30, and we can always go full circle on a subject if we have to. Because the great Xbox defense lawyer, he knows when the bat symbol's in the air, and he does usually show up. So we'll see if Xbox's able to join us later on. But without any further ado, let's get into this. And I you know, I saw you said you wanted to go ahead. You did. I know that a lot of people, okay, did the Twitter Spaces today on this subject because it was late breaking. Things just kind of came out. But so Halo Infinite to ship without campaign co-op, as well as no Forge at launch. You know, and again, I'm saying, is the game finished? But I want to pose a question to you before you get into your opinion on how it's launching with the state. You guys know I've said this for a long time. Crap's well aware of it. We talked about it all the time. I've been saying this for about 2 years. There's seemingly some sort of a leadership issue, and I implore a lot of the people that do gaming journalism to look into this. Why is it we were going to, Salt, play this game last November? It was supposed to come in the box, right? I'm being hypothetical here. It was digital, but it was going to be in the box. We were supposed to go home, plug in your Series X, play Halo Infinite. 1 year delay, and it's still missing content. And for some people, it's important. I understand some people are going to listen to the show and go, Mooch, I don't care. I play solo. Okay. It doesn't affect you, but you still have to admit it's not the full game. So, Salt, where were you mentally with this whole thing when you saw the news break? And, you know, maybe delve a little bit into the leadership and what you think maybe some of the problems may be.
All right, so let's take it all the way back to, what was it? It's been 20 years that Halo's been around, right?
That's right.
A lot of people don't know this because sometimes they're coming in to watch my content or whatever, and they might think I just have had a PlayStation my whole life. That's not the case. I bought the original Xbox at Best Buy, and the reason why I bought it was for Halo. I was super hyped. I remember playing it, having fun, just experiencing crazy new things that I've never experienced before, and that's what got me into Xbox. And I was there for a long time, and then I got, you know, disgruntled with some of their policies or whatever. With this situation, one of the, I don't know, it's disheartening to a fact because we've been talking about this for a while, and when we said that it's a leadership problem, or you say Phil Spencer's not the guy, he's a guy that's nice, right? It's a guy probably you could go hang out with and have a good conversation with.
Right.
But when it comes to leadership, he's not that guy. Have you seen that meme on around social media? You're not that guy. He's not that guy because he's not the leadership type of dude. He's not the dude that makes those tough decisions, or he doesn't seem like the kind of dude that's going to make the cuts when they need to be made. You know what I'm saying? Because Halo is the pillar franchise for Xbox. It's up there with Mario. It's up there with Kratos and God of War. It's just, when you think gaming, you think Master Chief, you think Xbox, right? They go hand in hand. So it's critical that this franchise doesn't get tarnished, because that's like your pillar. That's what you're building your house on. That's the foundation. And if you build a house on a foundation that's cracked, eventually that house is going to fall apart. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, Saul, can I add something to what you're saying? I want to see if you agree with me.
Sure.
From what I'm hearing is this is not you speaking as a Sony fan or a Nintendo fan. You're speaking this logic here because Halo is a pillar, right? It's what we all grew up with. And that's where the concern comes from. It's not he sit here to just poke fun. You're saying this because it's a genuine concern. You wouldn't, right? Yes. I don't want to see anything like this happen with God of War. You certainly don't want to see it happen with Halo. But go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, because, you know, there's a period of time there I was making Xbox content, but like I said, I got disgruntled with the way that Xbox was going. I got PlayStation. I just fell in love, right? Because they're putting out what I wanted. But I still have a soft spot in my heart for Xbox because of pillar franchises and experiences that I've had on Xbox, like Halo and stuff like that. So you want that to be good. If you're a true gamer,
Yes.
like anybody, you want to play whenever. It doesn't matter. Like I'll play, like I played Hades that's playing in the background here on PC first because that's where I could play it. I could have played it on my Switch, but I didn't. It doesn't matter the platform in reality. We have these console wars that go back and forth, but we're going to play a game wherever we want if you have that product. But what it comes down to in the grand scheme is we saw the writing on the wall, a lot of us, but we were called toxic. We were called detractors. We're called negative Nancy's with the situation with Halo 5 because let's be honest, that campaign was subpar. It was just a mess.
Agreed.
And then you see the trends, the bad trends. And with Sony, before they got God of War out, they were pitching what they had to Yoshida Shuhei. And he is like, I don't like this shit. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I don't like this. I don't like that. So they had to go back to the drawing board. It's not like they were just pushing anything out and they'll let anything go out. But with Xbox, it just seems like they let everybody run wild and there's no checks and balances. There's no, hey, if you're going to do this, it's like I give this analogy a lot of the times with Feige, Kevin Feige with the MCU. There's structure and there's direction because in reality, they have so many directors and writers and all this other stuff. They could let them go willy-nilly and do creative freedom wherever they wanted, but where would that lead you in the grand scheme? It wouldn't be the MCU because the MCU has a direction and it's led by a man with leadership. But then within that microcosm of you creating a movie, you're allowed to do creative things, but it's within this box of, hey, we have structure here. So I think that's the real issue. Like people like Bonnie Ross and people that have been there for a while and hiring more and more developers when things aren't going right instead of like trimming the fat. That's the issue. It's not like, hey, we're Microsoft, we can spend more and more money to fix our problems. That's not how it works in gaming, because if it was, they would be on top for last generation, the generation before, if it was simply a money game. But that's not the case, because it's not just about that. It's about developer talent. It's about leadership and all that. So all this stuff starts funneling down, and that's why we're at where we're at with this game. We're getting bad results because 343 can't get the product out no matter how much money they spend. We're not having ray tracing at launch. You're taking away features. It's coming in pieces, just like Game Pass has that mantra of games as a service, Game Pass fodder, all that stuff. Where do you think that comes from? It's because you're releasing stuff like this. So if you're going to do that with your pillar franchise, I don't know what to say.
We've said this now for a long time, Salt, and I know you've said it on SaltyX Gaming Podcast as well. And I'm going to go to King Thrash here in a second. I got to be honest with you. We've said that one of the concerns, and again, it's a concern, guys. I'm not nothing. No one out there in the chat, don't take this the wrong way. But a concern for what Game Pass can be is it can be a safety net for developers to say, you know what, if it doesn't come out right away, you know, it's never leaving the service. You're paying for it. We'll fix it with time. And that's fine. I think that's completely fine with a lot of different situations. But when you're going on almost 6 years, and Salt, you were saying this on Twitter Spaces, you're going on almost 6 years of development. You're going on what's estimated to be around $500 million and possibly upwards of 1,200 people working on this project. When do you stop and say, there's a problem here, and it's beyond just give the developers a little bit more time, which, the great Optimus Code's going to jump in here, but and Code, welcome to the show, buddy. I'm going over to King Thrash here, but this question will be poised to you in a second as well. By the way, King Thrash, I never do this and go in reverse order here, but King Thrash has a super chat here. He goes, my question is for King Thrash. Why did the gods make you more handsome than everyone in the channel and the chat and panel? It's unfair. Do what you do. King Thrash, buddy, by the way, that's one of the best super chats I've ever gotten. But, you know, King, in all honesty, I don't have the answer to your super chat, but I got to ask you, man, what is it that what are you taking back from what you saw today and kind of what you felt? Even though this news broke today, I've been watching what you do. I watch your Twitter Spaces. I listen to everything. So I know where you are, but let the audience know this really probably wasn't a huge shock for you.
No, we called this long time ago. I mean, like you said, these developers can take their time because, you know, it's already paid for. In Game Pass, at least, it's already paid for. But my thing is, with gamers that have Game Pass, time is money. You know what I mean? Time is money.
Absolutely.
The more every month that goes by is every month that you got to pay $15. So they're telling you they're going to be done with the completion of the basics of this game in what, 6 months, 9 months?
Yep.
So if you divide, I mean, if you multiply that by 15, you've paid for this game like you would own it and then some by the time it's complete.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of stuff I look at. I look at just that whole thing, and then just looking at like how, bro, I'm dumbfounded, but at the same time surprised. I'm dumbfounded by the shit that I say, and that shit actually comes true. And I go,
Right.
God damn.
You're like,
I
why
need to
can't I
play
do
the
this with the
lotto?
lotto numbers? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I need to go play lotto.
Right.
Because it's just sad to see it, but you can see it. It's on the
Yeah.
wall. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? When it comes to these subscription services, all of them pull this kind of stuff.
Well, you know,
what I'm saying? Next thing is
King-
going to be your raising price too.
King, honestly, let me just take what you said, and I just want to pogo that question over to the great Optimus Code who's here. And this is the thing. The reason King said what he said was, he said he was shocked that he was right. And listen, people listening in the chat and listening to the show later, this is my point. We have been involved with at least paying attention to this industry for long enough to when you know that we're sitting here, it's the end of August. This game, it says holiday, which let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say November. Nobody wants to go in December. So it's November for holiday. We're only a few months away. We don't have a release date. And they just had a tech test to test out the bots. I mean, listen, I don't care if you're a fan. I don't care if you're not a fan of Halo. Those are warning signs. Now, Code, again, I'm coming to you for professionalism here because this is your industry. I'm telling you just from somebody that reads articles, keeps his ear to the ground, and tries to keep up with the Joneses here. What I see when I hear those types of things, it just doesn't sound good. Now, I know you have people on the inside, but I don't. So I'm just using, like King says, I'm using rational thought, and I saw that this was going to be a problem a while ago. Code, what was your take on the whole Halo news as far as it breaking today? And if you can reveal anything, what were some of the things you heard early on?
Well, so first I want to say what's up to everybody on the panel except
good,
for
Code?
Enrique. What's up, man?
Whatever,
What's
old
up,
man.
EJ? What's happening? What's up, Thrash? What's up, Mooch?
What's good?
How's your
Salty.
arthritis code?
And shout out to the great
Code?
Worry Ward who's joined us as well.
Yeah, I see
Worry.
Worry down there, man. What's
Yes.
going on, everybody?
Yo,
All these
what up,
elite
what?
gamers on the panel. What's happening?
Good to have you, Code.
Great to see
So
you.
And very
first and
interested in your take.
foremost, well, I'll say what I can, Mooch.
That's
but,
all I can ask.
I mean, you said, yeah, you said something there. You said you just using rational thought. At the end of the day, Mooch, there is no substitute for rational thought, sir.
That's correct.
That is always your ace in the hole, and you should use it every single time.
Mhm.
And if we had more rational thinkers out here, we wouldn't fall for all this marketing speak and company lines and all of this stuff. At the end of the day, Mooch, 2 + 2 don't equal 5.
Facts.
And you do not have to be a game developer. You don't have to have been a game developer in the past. You don't have to have friends that work for these studios. You don't need none of that. You know that if a game is supposed to release in 2 months and we haven't seen much of anything, and you are in a tech preview, and you have to ask yourself, well, if this is the tech preview and they was going to release this a year ago, what was they doing? Like, what were they actually going to release? How was this just a tech preview? And you're right. At the end of the day, if it don't add up, it don't add up. And you don't need no inside information to know things not adding up, Mooch. Not at all.
What was your take, Code, when you saw the reaction today? Because I know that you've been very involved as well in the Twitter spaces. You get a lot of people
man.
coming back and forth with you, some of it with rational thought, and some people saying, well, you know what? I was saying this before I think you got in here. People are saying, well, I play solo. So if I'm playing solo and I don't play co-op, the point of the matter is you listen, if you go to McDonald's and you order a number 6, regardless if you want the fries better be in the bag. You know what I'm saying?
Fact.
So how come
Yes,
we're
I
not
do.
getting the whole deal? That's the point I'm trying to make.
I understand exactly what you're saying. And I mean, obviously the reason we're not getting the whole deal because they're not ready.
That's
And
right.
there have been some development problems, obviously. Like, it doesn't take a magician to figure that out. And there are obviously still some development problems, and they just need to get things together over there, man.
Why
It's
not
that
delay it
simple.
again, though, Code? It really would be the better move. Even though it's 24 hours of backlash, it's better than what a half game. I shouldn't say half, because it's not half the game, but it's modes people really care about.
Define better. Who would it be better for, Mooch?
I think it would be better for the developers in Microsoft if they delayed the
Okay,
game.
so yes. So I don't think that they could withstand. So you remember, well, I mean, you may not remember, but Enrique should remember. We did a BRAP thing with him Sunday, and during that conversation, it came out that a lot of time when Phil talks, he's not only talking to gamers, oftentimes he's also talking to investors.
That's right.
So at the end of the day, I don't think that the investors will stand for Halo being pushed again, especially this close to the release date. And you remember before, you may not remember before, I had tweeted about, it was about a year ago, about rumors about maybe the multiplayer and the campaign are separate, or maybe they released one and not the other, and they were having problems specifically with different versions of hardware and co-op. And you can dig those tweets up, specifically about wanting to maximize the newer console, but then having that also tethered to the old Xbox One console. And members of the dev team wanted to ditch the early hardware, the older hardware, and only focus on the new hardware because it was creating all these problems in development. And you had certain people. Do we name names on this show? What is this, Mooch? Is this a pretty laid back show, or what? How do we do?
Well,
Code,
I mean,
Code, are you referring to game design? Is that what you're referring to?
Well, I just want to know, can we name names? Because I don't want to get Mooch in no trouble around here. So tell me what we doing, Mooch.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I've never had anybody ask me about naming it. I don't know. Are you referring to another show?
Yes, specifically other YouTubers. Yes.
Would that show have a banjo?
Well, I think you should. I think people pretty much know what everybody says without naming names. But you know, I mean,
okay. Well, I won't name any names.
You don't. Yeah, you don't have to. Crap's already giving clues.
So this prominent
YouTuber,
prominent YouTuber sent out a tweet. Well, how much more next gen could it be, and all of this stuff if they drop the old hardware? You know, damage controlling for Xbox and all of this stuff. Well, now we see how much more next gen it could be, because I was tweeting months ago that the co-op was a problem for the dev team because the disparity in hardware was just causing grief. And they wanted to try and make two versions, and they were having teams like the management wasn't listening. When I say management, I don't mean Xbox, Microsoft. I mean the management at 343. There was the disconnect between the management at 343 and the actual people in the trenches at 343, and no one was listening about the complexity of this task. But certain statements have been made publicly, certain promises have been made by Xbox leadership and support for all these different SKUs and all of this stuff. And so this team in particular has to, because it is the flagship title.
No,
this
100%
in particular. Yeah, so it has to deliver on all of those promises. Even if there's a first party game later that, like Flight Sim, for example.
Right.
Really shouldn't call it a game.
What you're saying on the technical side is what I feel, and I think Salty was expressing just from the consumer side. This is a flagship. This is their number one. Like, yeah, you're saying absolutely. There's nothing wrong with another first party game coming out and showing up Halo. That's fine. That's hey, we want to see that. We want to see that internal competition. But as far as Halo being a pillar of the Xbox portfolio, they have to put their best foot forward. And I mean, if you don't mind, I want to ask Worry, I know you're kind of jumping in here as well. And one of the things, besides Xbot, Worry's the other person I happen to personally know that loves Halo. And I mean, when I mean loves Halo lore, he's reading the books. He's not just playing the games 8 times in a row. He's also reading the books. So you know all the lore, right?
All night.
So that's my point, Worry. So what was your take when you see this? All night.
So before I begin, let me just preface everything that I'm going to say with this is my second pint of Guinness that I'm on right now.
Well, that's okay.
Excuse me.
You're usually on Grey Goose Martini, so this is like a Kool-Aid for you.
Right.
Yeah.
This is great.
Listen, Halo is not Microsoft's pinnacle anymore, and the reason it isn't is because Microsoft doesn't give a shit about Halo anymore. They took this franchise. Because they took this franchise, and instead of growing their base around what it was, they decided that it's going to be a games as a service now. We're going to have a 20-year plan. Here's a perfect example. The co-op isn't ready, but the single player is. Explain that to me, because the single player and the co-op work together. So if the co-op can't work in the single player, then what the hell is this single player campaign and story going to be? It's going to be awful. It's going to be terrible. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I'm incredibly pissed off with the idea that I can't just get one friggin' single player game on the level of a Ghost of Tsushima or a God of War or a Last of Us from Microsoft, because they think that these great franchises that they had have to be shoehorned. They have a round peg and they're shoving it in a square hole when it comes to Halo with this games as a service crap. And you're seeing the result of what it's doing to these storied franchises. And it's not good, period. I don't care who's telling you it is. I don't care who's telling you give them time. How much time do you need? They had 7 years for this game to be developed. It was supposed to launch with the Xbox Series consoles, right?
Yep.
Now here we are, a second delay, and it's not having co-op. It's not having graphical features. What's going on?
Right. There's no ray tracing. Not that that's a big thing, but that's something that was promised.
You can't explain this in any other way than either they're completely inept or everyone there is being forced into this mantra of take the long game. It doesn't matter if it launches broke. Hey, here's an example. Look at Sea of Thieves. It was shit when it launched. But now because it's on PC, we have a lot of players. So take Halo. Don't worry about it. I mean, he even said that this isn't make or break for Halo. Who says that with a storied franchise coming off of a terrible campaign?
That was
coming off of a terrible campaign with good multiplayer. He decides to say, well, you know, Halo will be around 20 years from now. Who cares how good it is when it comes out now? You've got to be an idiot to look at all of the things that are happening with this one game and not chalk it up to the fact that they're shoehorning everything they do into this games as a service, forgive me, bullshit. Because that's what it is.
You know,
now I'm going to have another sip of my Guinness.
He brought out the curse words. Man,
he did. That's all right.
He's angry.
He said, excuse me. Bullshit.
Hey,
Rory, hold on real quick. Rory, I appreciate you expressing your frustration.
A gentleman and a scholar.
As a Halo fan, like for real.
Let me say, I appreciate being in this podcast with somebody like Optimus, who's closer to my age, because I'm so tired of listening to like 18 to 25-year-olds in the comment section of my videos telling me things that just don't make any sense at all.
Can I speak, Mooch?
Go ahead, Crap. You know you can.
Okay. So let me just start by saying a few things. There's this contingent of Xbox fans, and they feel that this is ammunition for PlayStation fans to make fun of them. Get the fuck over it, okay? Don't worry about that. Worry about what's going on and asking for better. When Microsoft decided to try and charge 100% more for Xbox Live Gold, everybody spoke up. 24 hours later, that was reversed. Ask Microsoft to delay this game for multiple reasons. First of all, a lot of people kind of poke fun of Game Pass as being a place where Microsoft puts their own incomplete games. State of Decay 2, Sea of Thieves, Crackdown 3, the list goes on and on, okay? They're supposed to not do that anymore, right? Are we looking at Game Pass as a place where there's quality, complete content? Or is that going to be a case where Microsoft just puts their half-finished stuff still, right? Like, you cannot do that, okay? First of all, there's been 0 Halo games that have launched without co-op campaign. I have played Halo campaign co-op every single one of them since the first. Every single one. I've never played through Halo. I don't play through Halo by myself. It's not fun for me.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a fun experience to play with your friends.
I agree.
How in the world could this happen? I mean, there's rumors that they had to reboot the project in 2018. Is that true? Why didn't anybody lose their job at that point? You know, almost 7 years later. How is this even a thing? Forge, I don't really care about, but think about this. 343 came off Halo 4, and Halo 4 was good, had a good campaign.
That's right.
The multiplayer wasn't good. Halo 5 had a shit campaign, and the multiplayer was pretty good. Everybody thought they were going to bring it together here. Now, 343 is coming off 3 L's in a row, in my opinion, which is Halo 5, which obviously is the lowest scoring Halo mainline game, and also, just the least critical in terms of what people think about it. Halo Master Chief Collection was literally broken for years. You couldn't find a match in an hour.
Right.
And Mooch, we played it together when it came out, and we stopped because the achievements wouldn't launch.
The achievements weren't even popping. Yeah, we were going through Combat Evolved, and we noticed we got an hour in, we're like, nothing's popping. And then they literally had a tweet out shortly thereafter saying, sorry for the inconvenience on achievements, but they will pop at some point in time. And we're like, all right, whatever.
So literally, they left that game hang how it was, until the Xbox One X came out, and then they go, well, we better fix it and update it. We don't have any other content, and that's what they did. So they dropped the ball with Halo 5. They dropped the ball with Halo Master Chief Collection, and now this, like, co-op is a core gameplay element to Halo. It's a core gameplay element. It's not something you add in 3 or 5 months later. It's a core gameplay element. And when you listen to Joseph Staten talk about it, he goes, well, it's a service game. He flat out says it. And he goes, but we got to get it started first, right? Like, I get that, but how are you going to get it started? So already people were having to avoid spoilers for this game, right? Like the story leak. We're avoiding that. So people that want to experience this in co-op have to avoid that for another.
Oh, hey, crap! Real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. That was sloppy right there. But go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, now you have to avoid...
No, not you. Not you was sloppy. It was sloppy that they allowed the campaign to be leaked. It didn't even take a bunch of tomfoolery. It was just in their code, and they were so sloppy that they didn't protect the campaign. Go ahead, bro.
Exactly. And then, okay, so then you have fans have to avoid that now. There's people that are blacking that out because people like the campaign. And this isn't Call of Duty where hardly anybody plays it. There's so much lore in Halo that it really keeps people vested and they play through it. Master Chief is the key. Why do you think people complain about Halo 5? It wasn't the multiplayer, it was Master Chief. You didn't get to play as Master Chief. People didn't like that. They want to play a regular Halo campaign as Master Chief and do the great things that he does throughout the history of Halo. And now you have it to where you can't. And now and they go, well, it's not up to par on, it needs to be up to par on every device. Is this an issue for old legacy software? Is it, they can't get it on potato PCs? Is it having to do with having to be streamed on phones and tablets? Like, in my opinion, get your shit out on your consoles the way that it's supposed to run.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how can this be a thing all this time later? Like, Game Pass looks terrible. You have your flagship franchise looking terrible, and they're going to launch it in this game. Like, I know scores don't matter in Meta Who, but this could, like, a Halo game is going to probably score in the 70s because of this, right? Like, I implore you, Phil Spencer, Microsoft, push back the game for 6 months. There's Battlefield and there's Call of Duty anyway. Right? Push your game back 6 months. Launch it when it's finished, a finished product for once, and let earn your trust back. How is anybody supposed to trust?
Forward, crap.
Yeah. How is anybody going to trust Microsoft Studios? And I get it. Like, Playground Games are godly. They are going to do a great job with Horizon. It looks good. That's why they're showing it. I mean, there's a reason why we haven't seen the campaign or anything like that or have a release date for Halo. Let's just be real. There's all kinds of trouble at 343, and one day somebody's going to write a book about it, and we're all going to be like, damn. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's just going to be.
You know what? Yeah, you know what? You just nailed it, because they're proud of what Playground Games is doing, and they're highlighting that. They're showing it off. Yep. They're not proud of what 343 is doing. Here's another question I have. How does Sucker Punch release DLC to some people that's 17 hours long, completely perfect, completely polished, but in 7.5 years, they can't get Halo out the door?
How is it that Call of Duty Vanguard, hold on. How is it that Call of Duty Vanguard, during a 1.5 years of pandemic, in a 2.5 year cycle, get a full campaign, a zombies campaign, and 20 maps to launch for the multiplayer in 2.5 years? How is that even possible, right? And Halo has had 2,000 plus developers, including the Coalition coming to help. And in fact, my grandma, your grandma, pretty sure they all helped out too. At some point.
Well, if my grandma helped, it's a miracle, because she's dead.
But I'm just saying, I don't need to make fun of that. But I'm just saying, everybody and their mom helped out on this game. Like, supposedly over 2,000 devs, and it's in this.
Hey, I got a question for Code. Hey, Code. He's got to unmute himself. Or
I'm here, bro. I'm listening. What's
up? Remember, Code is 85. He's got.
I know, that's why I said, put the battery in the hearing aid and get off the hover round. We're good.
What's up, bro?
Why is it all these questions that he just raised and I just raised? Why is it you can't raise these questions and have them answered in a rational way?
Can I answer that, Code?
Of course you can, Enrique.
I want to answer this question. Bot brain. Go ahead, Code.
Bot brain. Damn.
Well, so here's the thing, Worry, and I'm sure you've seen it, bro. It depends on who you're asking the question to. So if you asking the question of Xbox leadership and you want to have a genuine conversation about the state of Halo development and just keep it real with us, treat us like adults. What can we expect what's the real deal here? The reason you won't be able to get a straight answer from them is because Microsoft, in my opinion, finally understands their rabid fan base. Like, it's something that's clicked within them, and they get it. They know how the bot hive mind works. They know how to feed into it. They know how to direct it. They also know the things that could make it not work in their favor.
Mm-hmm.
So they are very careful that they are speaking to investors. They are very careful that they don't want to annoy the bot hive mind. And so certain negative aspects, they're just not going to admit because of the impact that it would have in the mind share and social media. And it is my honest belief that the social media backlash from 2013 is still with them. It is front and center. And they don't want to go through anything like that again. And they have some mind share now. They have fans that are on their side, and they do not want to jeopardize that at all. So certain things they're just not going to say because their extremist fan base, it just distorts everything they say. And I think that is the main problem with Xbox is the fan base. How Xbox can't just say anything without it being distorted and taken to extremes. So Microsoft just has to be careful what they say.
Hey, Code.
What up?
Go ahead, E.
EJ!
I was going to say, I want to
What's
hear
up,
Eric. After Eric's, I do want to get some super chats, but E, I got to hear, what is your take, not only your question to Code, but what was your take, not only today, but the build up to what led to today's announcement?
Well, no, I mean, just based off of what Code says, you see it every time, like, Still makes a statement. And I've said this to the guys in the BRAP. I said, sometimes somebody's telling you something in plain sight and it doesn't need to be deciphered. Right?
That's right.
And every time he says something, people who kind of see things for what they are, put it out there and say it. And every single time there's like this separation where the Xbox faithful feel like you don't understand what he's saying. You don't speak the language that he's speaking. He's not saying that. I'm like, why is it? So based off of that and off the estimation, everything the dude says is 100% right 100% of the time.
That's correct.
Based off of how you guys react to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
good point, EJ. Good point.
The way
sir.
I kind of look at it, let's go back to when they first showed Halo Infinite. What happened? They showed it, and first thing I said as a Halo fan was like, "What the hell was that?"
Right.
This doesn't look good.
It didn't.
And
look
what's
good.
the first thing you do? Everybody went to people who are Halo fans and Xbox fans went to Twitter to voice their concerns, and what happened? Like you guys call them the bot brains or whatever. Pushed back against everybody who has something to say. Well, I don't know. It looks good to me.
Look good
I'm
to
ready
me.
For Halo.
Yep.
It looks fire. It looks dope. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Right? You're not a real Halo fan because you're talking shit about it. I'm like, okay. And it wasn't until Microsoft said, yeah, you know what, we're going to go ahead and delay that because, whatever. Yeah, that's the right thing to do. They're doing the right thing. That's the
exactly.
Right thing. That's what they should be doing. And Code's 100% right. And I've been saying this for a long time. They are tuned into this base to where it doesn't matter what the average fan has to say. It doesn't matter what the general consumer has to say. It's about what the base says and what the base wants because they know they
bot
can
brain. Go ahead and call it like it is, DJ. Bot brain.
Bro. No, it is bot brain.
And then the minute they come back and walk something back, look how transparent they're being. They're so transparent.
Fact.
It's like transparency isn't necessarily correcting something or just saying what you want to hear. They're gonna, they like Code says, they kind of tippy toe around some things. But the funny thing is, the consumer, the Xbox fan, or the consumer in general, understands how the whole corporation thing works. I don't know what it is, why there's this separation of corporation trying to do whatever they need to do to protect them and make their money versus how they perceive and do things with the consumer. Because these dudes seem to think that everything that they do is out of love and care and protection of them.
Facts.
Don't get it twisted. Game Pass is created to separate you from your money in a completely different way.
Right.
All these different things.
That's right.
None of it is to necessarily benefit you. It's just packaged to make you feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I do think there are people who know what they're doing online when it comes to making videos and making some extra cash by saying some things that just don't make sense.
Yeah, because
absolutely.
the hive mind definitely goes over, and the tribalism definitely carries over to the YouTuber.
I want to point out
YouTubers are making bank off that. But let me say one more thing, Crap.
Go ahead.
And the thing, like where like Halo is concerned, you see in it already. The defenders. Well, that's fine. It doesn't have to necessarily, do this because games do this all the time. Games ship. And so why would they not try you back when they first showed Halo Infinite? Why wouldn't they have a problem doing that? Because they know they have defenders that will say, oh, this is cool. This is fine.
It's fine.
We can do this.
Yeah.
Let's rock with this. Until they decide, no, we're not going to rock with it. Yeah, that's the good move. That's the move. They know what they're doing. And that's BS. the Halo should be releasing in the complete package. And which one is it? It can't be this thing where Halo is still a staple, because you see that too, where they go, oh no, Halo's still a staple, it still matters. And then when Microsoft act like it doesn't matter, they're like, well, give them time.
Yep.
The $1 trillion company?
Yep.
Which one is it? Do they have the dough to smash everybody, or are they some little developer? Which one is it? You guys can't have it both ways.
Mooch, I know you want to get to the super chats, but EJ just brought up a really important point that I think people need to pay attention to. You can't just throw money at everything and think it's going to solve it.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, ask Ninja about that.
The great Jez7780 has joined us as well.
Ask the Washington football team.
Or Nokia.
Let me say there's a couple more things here. People think because there's no Forge and no co-op that's where it ends. Who knows that they didn't scale it back elsewhere? We still haven't heard about stuff like ray tracing in this game. Is that coming after launch again? There's other aspects to look at as well. And when we look at this and go, well, is other corners going to be cut? Also, you have to look at this. Because people go multiplayer or Game Pass. The multiplayer has nothing to do with Game Pass. Anybody can play that, right? It's almost its own thing. But if you're a person that likes to buy games, or maybe there's a collector's edition of Halo, you're going to spend $60 for a campaign that's less than what other campaigns have had in the past. I think that's a bit of a problem too. Like, damn, every other Halo game has had co-op at launch, right? And the biggest thing that people complained about was couch co-op with Halo 5, which wasn't there. And they're like, we're fixing that. The biggest complaint was that. And now it's like,
couch co-op was a big deal, crap. You're right.
Yeah,
and now everyone's dismissing co-op just across.
Co-op, yeah. and like I said, multiple Halo games were where I went and picked it up at midnight with my friend, my brother, and we would all play it together and like stay up all night and play. You know what I mean? That is what Halo is to me. I'm not a hater. I want them to do better. I want this thing to launch. I want to play the game, but I want to play it the way I want to fucking play it. I don't want to play through this shit solo because I don't enjoy those games. It's not that type of game for me. Halo has always been same thing with Gears, man. I don't playing through Gears by yourself it sucks. I'm just going to be honest. Like, it's not a very...
The way they've designed Halo... And there's probably a lot of Halo fans in the chat right now that are going to disagree. I mean, that's fine. You have every right to. But I'm in Crap's camp there. I have always played through the Gears campaign and the Halo with a friend, if not more, especially with Halo 5. You could have up to 4 players, I believe. So my point being was that, like, that's just the way that I've experienced it. I know that there's a number of people that may have beat it solo, but then went ahead and played it with a friend. And that's what I think. I think the game is almost designed that way. So you can't blame people for feeling that way.
Man.
Yeah, please
I know I'm being rude, but let me say something, man. I think it ties into what Crap just said and what EJ just said, both. So usually when you talk about, say, like Game Pass or whatever it is, I'm talking about the bot brain here. This is what I'm getting to, right? So the bot brain and Persona brought this up today. My Pegasus brother Persona brought this up in the Spaces earlier today.
What do I sign the contract code?
Hey, it ain't up to me. It ain't up to me. So here's what he says, Mooch and panel. Here's what he says. When you talk about something like Game Pass, somebody from the Xbox community always comes up with some anecdotal scenario where, well, if there is a mother and she doesn't have a lot of income and Game Pass is great for her, and she can just let little Timmy play on Game Pass and hundreds of games for $15 a month. What a great win for this single mom. Or they'll be like, the little soccer mom stuff. Or Game Pass is so great because I came back from World War 78 and the only thing I could do was stay at home all day, and I enjoyed Game Pass, and it got me through life. So they come up with all these little examples for anecdotal little scenarios that help people with Game Pass. But you know what they don't do? You never hear them say, oh man, there was this dude and he played Halo co-op through college his whole life, and now he wants to relive his college days by playing Halo co-op, but it ain't there, so he can't do it. So, you know, they never come up with these little examples to show when Xbox fails, but they have 1,000 of these little examples to show how Xbox can benefit people, and they make them up every time. But they never make up an example when Xbox does something wrong. So I would like to see this Xbox community come up with a whole lot of made-up examples about why it's bad that co-op is missing, instead of coming up with examples why it's okay that co-op is missing.
You let me know if you find that video, Code.
Code, Code, speaking of soccer moms, what if the soccer moms want to play campaign co-op with little Jimmy?
Oh, fat
Halo.
Yo,
What
little
about
Jimmy
soccer
has
moms
the biggest
there?
family looking out for him in the world, man.
Yeah,
Why they gotta be soccer moms?
Little
though?
Jimmy
Like,
must have every game and console.
Yeah. I mean,
Hey,
little
let
Jimmy,
him- let him understand about
Little Jimmy can't use a screwdriver to take apart his PS5 either, right?
Well, that's what I was just
No,
gonna
yeah.
say.
Be real.
So little Jimmy's 0 for 2. He can't use a screwdriver and he can't play Halo campaign co-op with his mom.
Jimmy's
I mean,
upset.
Hey, I'll say this.
So-
I'll say
I
this.
want to
today.
chime in with
Go
you.
ahead, King.
Before you get your super chats,
No,
I know
go
you
ahead,
want
King.
them. I know they've been holding real long.
It's good.
But
It's a
look,
good
about the
thing.
soccer mom thing. It's a horrible analogy. A soccer mom is going to get their kids a Nintendo Switch. It's going to be the single dad is going to get them kids an Xbox. I'm sorry to break any hearts. But moms is more responsible. They're more smarter than us. They're going to get them something portable to shut their asses up in the car, shut their asses up in the store while they're doing what they do. Us men, we're going to be like, get an Xbox, get him an Xbox with Game Pass because I'm broken, I'm a loser, and I don't know what gaming is, but it's going to fit on my TV and I can use the Blu-ray disc. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is.
Shit.
Oh man, yo,
That is-
King went in. Guys, I want to say this. Jess, I'm going to let you get your few cents in, and I'm switching topics, but
No, do your super chat.
but it still ties in.
super
It still
chat.
ties in. I got the
Do
super
your
chats
super
here.
chats because I got something to say.
Okay,
Yeah, Mooch, I
Jess, you
wanna
got the
chime in
microphone
before
These
next.
are the super chats.
Let me just say,
Dude,
shout out.
I have the answer to all your questions, but you guys need to hear
Just
it.
let 'em
All
go.
right, so
I'll
we'll go
wait.
Jez,
Do a
and we're gonna go
super chat.
Salt then after that. All right,
What
so
up, Salt
shout out to
King?
the
What up,
the melodic
What up,
punk
Rob?
here. He says, back from an amazing concert. What did I miss in the gaming world? Melodic, I hope you're catching up right now. The first 45 minutes has been one hell of a tailspin. Quick Killing says, what the hell was Halo like before the year delay? This is proof 343 isn't the right team. 2 half-baked releases and now an unfinished game. Quick, exactly what Crap was getting into. We read Kings already, which was fantastic. Shout out to Fat Nuts. He was saying he was just enjoying the podcast and eating a burrito. I said I was jealous. So he said, go get a burrito. Thank you, Fat Nuts. I appreciate that. That guy, Smitty, he's a Mooch Maniac family member. He says, delay Halo until all of the game is ready. No partial content. That guy, that's exactly what we're saying. It should just delay it and let it come
Delay.
out when you're ready. If you need till June, take till June. Donnell Brown says, I hate to say it, but how about them Dodgers? The Mets suck. Go Dodgers. Donnell Brown, what the hell, man? You're a family member. We're all supposed to be on the same team. Let's go Mets. Shout out to Sir X Man. He says, I'm so used to Halo coming out in September. Well, Sir X Man, if it came out in September, you probably only could play half the campaign. He then says, if it can't be
doesn't look like there's much of a campaign from the leak anyway.
well, we haven't seen anything at all except for that leak. If it can't be done, find a developer that can do it. Microsoft pays good money for them to do their job. Stop crying and get it done. Note to developers. So, X-Man, that's a great super chat, but I got to say, Optimus Code answered that. You just can't use the I'm going to throw money at people and get the job done. It doesn't always work that way. Will it work sometimes? Sure. But you can't gamble on it 10 out of 10 times.
Look at Waterworld, man. That movie flopped.
Right.
It was the most expensive movie at the
How about
time.
Last Action Hero? Right? That was supposed to
Yeah.
beat Jurassic Park. Flopped.
Magic Ticket my ass.
Right.
Look at the Washington football team
Ah,
for many years.
that's right. How about the Philadelphia
Seriously.
Eagles when they put that dream team together? Sports! We're going to lose people quick. Emperor Gaozu says, don't be mad. Sony can't create a multiplayer single-player game at
Oh
all.
my gosh, there's no, what about isms? Where's Xbox when you need him?
I know.
Can I just
Go ahead.
real
Go ahead.
quick, real quick?
No, we can interject in
That's
between these. Go ahead.
That's what I'm so tired of friggin' hearing too, because the biggest and the best multiplayer games are all third party. So if you have a large base of consumer that purchased your console, guess where they're going to play those biggest and best third party multiplayer games? On the PlayStation. So why not give that consumer something that they're not getting, like really great characters, worlds, and single player games?
Wow.
Preach.
100% worried.
Preach,
man.
man.
100%.
Hey, can I add something real quick? I got a
Go
super
ahead,
chat
Kay.
right here. I want to read Mike's. He left it at 4:56 p.m. He said, so people want Halo to have an epic single player, next gen amazing graphics, multiplayer, co-op built-in level editor, seasonal content updates, no bugs, then crime and development time gets out of hand. Ha ha ha. Look, yes, nigga, yes, bitch. We want that. Yes, we expect that. What the fuck did you buy your console for? Nigga, how many games are coming out with amazing graphics, multiplayer co-op, built-in level editor, and all of that good shit? Yes, we want it. We want that and more. I want Cortana with her titties out. Yes, I do. Why would you want less? Stupid. Stop making excuses. My bad. That was a super chat.
That's all right.
And again,
That was a super chat.
Why shouldn't that come from a
$4
$1 trillion company?
Yo,
Watch it
King.
temper expectations.
King's
right?
great.
Again, people like to
yeah.
people like to spend and throw their money around until something comes up. Then it's like that's irrelevant now.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like it's like Red and Friday. Oh, that was different.
Oh, that was different.
That was different. Yeah. Mooch,
Dude, I
you
was
got
on-
the super chats or more?
No, there's a
Yeah,
few
go
more
ahead,
here.
more.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Fabrice. He says, always a great podcast to tune into. Appreciate you, Mooch. Thank you, Fabrice. Appreciate that. Sir X-Man's Becky says, take away the developers' alcohol fridge, Microsoft. Phil's Berry is subscribed. Thank you, Phil's. I appreciate that. Hit that subscribe button. The great Carlos Crespin is back. He says, relax, everyone. Relax. He says, the biggest problem in gaming right now is a screwdriver. And shout out to the Lady Foxfire. Great to have Lady Foxfire here. She says, and you know what? By the way, Lady Foxfire has been absolutely on fire today on Twitter, and she's been defending herself because people have been, it's not attacking, but people have been contrary to her point, and you have to respect her point. She says co-op and multiplayer is a big part of Xbox Live, in my opinion. This is disappointing. It sucks when games launch with missing features. And just because I was following Lady Foxfire, I know what she was saying on Twitter. She was saying what Crap had said earlier. She enjoys playing this game with her family. It's something that she's always done. And no matter what anyone wants to say to defend it, it's not gonna work in her house. That just doesn't work for her. So Lady Foxfire, much respect. Go ahead, BRAP or whoever wanted to chime in. I want to get Jez and Salt.
Let me chime in real quick. Let me chime in real quick.
Wait a minute, man. We supposed to be
I gotta take a ticket.
King, man.
It was
I don't
it was Mr. Grinds my gears that I can't.
I've been waiting.
I was in the arm wrestle you.
I'll arm wrestle you.
Let me go. Let me jump in real quick, guys. Let me jump in real quick here because I'm listening to the conversation.
I know you have beta test. I know.
Yeah.
Xbox Live beta test. I know. I know. Yes.
Look, no, but you know what's wild? We're having a podcast doubting the quality of Halo. Let that sink in for a minute.
Ridiculous.
Some of you guys out there don't know or appreciate because you were probably like 5 years old.
Well, we're all just PlayStation shows.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Or we're just PlayStation shows. But no, like Halo, when Halo dropped, and Code, I know you remember because you were like 60 when that Halo came out. When Halo came out, it literally put Xbox on the map. It literally shook the industry to its core in a very positive way, I might add. Halo
and it's literally going to take Xbox off the map.
Yeah, well, yeah. So what's crazy is that when you'd have a conversation about a Halo release, is the conversation was game of the year, right? Here we are in 2021.
It's not even a discussion anymore,
and it's not even a discussion.
No,
we're debating whether or not the game's going to release like complete, and whether or not the game's going to be good. How do we get here? It's a problem. Call it out. Discuss it. Optimus Code. I used to laugh at the whole bot brain thing, man. But you might be onto something. After today, what I saw about, campaign's not that big of a deal, and we got multiplayer. Stop it. That's ridiculous.
I told you they're so afraid of like there being ammo against them from PlayStation fans that they refuse to kind of admit this stuff. It's a problem. It's like that's a really bad way to do things though.
The thing is I've been saying this stuff.
I took a ticket. I took a ticket. Oh
wait, Crap. I agree with you.
Hold on,
I agree with you. Oh, real quick. I agree with you, Crap, because I used to be that guy on the GameSpot forums. I used to be a hardcore Xbox fanboy, and we were so worried about getting one over on the PlayStation fans that we forgot to tend to our own house.
Yep.
We were worried about what's going on in the house across the street, that our house turned into a shit show, and we didn't care. We didn't care.
Hey, I seen a DM that Optimus Code had where a former Xbox fan was like, I capped for a game that I didn't even like just because it was on Xbox.
Dude,
I'm gonna tell you the formula. I'm gonna tell you the formula, all right? Because everybody's asking how and why, and I'm gonna solve the problems for everybody on here because you guys keep asking why. It's a simple formula, all right? So imagine if you're a worker at a company and they tell you that there's no requirements to meet deadlines or meet goals. No matter what, you're not going to get fired. No matter what the product is, the quality of it, it's just going to be all good because that's essentially what Phil Spencer said, right? It doesn't matter what the quality of this Halo is. It's not make it or break it. So that's the first part of the equation, right? No, you're not asking for any results from the developers for 343, and we see that, right? What's the second part of the equation? Well, it's the consumer base that is not requiring their company that they pay money into to do anything better. So it's this perfect storm of some weird conglomeration of a company a company that doesn't require the best from its workers and a consumer base that doesn't give a fuck for quality. So why is anything else going to change? That's why we're here. Everybody's asking how we got here. That's how we got here.
A lot of people don't want to hear a lot of people don't want to hear what Salt just said. But literally, take yourself out of the shoes you're in right now, where you're on one camp or you have a show. Like, just listen to what he said. That's exactly the kind of information we're getting from Microsoft. It's not make or break, right? You've seen multiple people being in charge of different developing teams where the games completely flopped, didn't do well at all, and there's no repercussions. If anything, they just kind of shuffle executives around. And that's the thing. And then you do have a consumer base that will defend it at all costs. And now, unlike last generation, where, okay, we defended Xbox, right? Absolutely. But the media and the influencers were a little harder on Xbox. Now it's the camp and Xbox is defending it. And now you have a lot of influencers and you have a lot of media that are behind Xbox regardless. And the thing is, every time you say anything that's even a slight critique, all you get is, well, Mooch, come on. It's, I get where you're coming from, but Game Pass. And I'm like, what?
I was asked last week if I was a Halo fan because I thought there was things missing from the multiplayer. This is bullshit.
Jess, go ahead, say your point.
I'm telling you, dude, I've been saying this for the last 2 goddamn years. It's all on my friggin' channel. Ever since they did this, they went this route of Game Pass everywhere, PC day one. I was like, everything? Yes, everything. And I was like, well, what are the games going to look like in that kind of model? And I was like, Halo, I didn't even know the name of it. Halo 6, I was like, Halo 6 is going to be different. It's going to be a platform to inject content because of Game Pass. And I was fearmongerer. What are you talking about? This is the best deal in gaming. And you want to know what? We are a year later from when this game was supposed to come out, and they were saying last year, oh, the delay is good. Oh, that's great. They're just going to add, everything will be ready. It's not ready. And you want to know why this stuff is, why we're here? And if you look at what Staten said, who just came on last year, he said the reason why they're taking stuff back, and every time you hear Bonnie Ross says, we're taking a step back. And then the guy said it about the assassinations. We decided to take a step back, see what works, and we add the content later. I've been saying this for friggin' a year and a half. This is Chris crap. And everybody's like, oh, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And they're like the goddamn Swedish chef. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And the thing is like, it's fine until we see this, and the excuses are ridiculous. This is Halo. This is the best. If you say what happens to Halo, and I heard this all day today, and I'm glad, because people are saying if they do this to Halo, what's Perfect Dark? You're going to sit here with a smile on your face and say Perfect Dark is going to be better? Fable? You got to question everything when you see what they're doing to Halo. They're taking stuff out and going to spoon feed it to you. They're going to sew up your ass and keep feeding you and feeding you and feeding you. And season 1, season 2, season 3. Reference. Exactly. Wu-Tang. Ain't nothing to fuck with. There we go.
I thought a human centipede, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah, same thing. Same thing. But
that's what it really is. You know what the major problem is? The biggest problem out of all of this shit is that when it comes to Xbox fans, and again, I hate separation. Because we all gamers. I hate that separation.
That's
bullshit.
right.
This fan, that fan.
Yep.
We're all gamers. We're fan of gamers, right? But the gamers like Xbox. The problem with them is that I notice is that they're still trying to fight a console war. They're the only ones fighting the console war, and they want to win it. But there is no war, and nobody told them. You know what I'm saying? Or they just, that's all they have. I think the console war was so fun for them that right now that's all they have. So now everything that we say they're gonna make an excuse of why we're wrong, or say but Sony did this, but Sony did that, and I'm like, but Sony is successful. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, man, get over it, nigga. Like nobody hates Xbox, nobody. And if I say something bad about Xbox, it doesn't mean I'm talking about your mama. All I'm saying is that get your fucking head out your ass. Look at what's going on around you. You are part of Xbox's problem, and you can fix it. Except you're pretending like everything is okay, and that's the message that you're sending to them.
Hey, but
King,
King,
I'm not gonna play it anyway, dude.
But King, they're more worried because I'm a self-proclaimed rehabilitated Xbox fanboy. I've shared with Optimus Code some of the crazy shit that I used to do in the GameSpot forums back in the days. They just care about like one-upping. Like they just want to win.
They want that. This is how you share a winning moment.
And instead of saying, you know what, guys, instead of saying, you know what, we want better games, and that's okay. You know, like it's about winning. Like I used to make those lists. Like Project Ego, Brute Force, Reckless. You know, in the OG Xbox.
Yeah,
those games are
BRAP. Those lists are still being made. It's Game Pass now. People aren't even playing the games that are in there. They're just making the list. Look at we were playing Gears Hive Busters. We were getting achievements for opening a fucking door.
I know. I was shocked.
Rare achievements.
That's what I said.
And now
rare achievements.
Everyone is talking about Psychonauts too. I see people. Oh, Psychonauts!
I can't wait to play it.
It's going to be better than Ratchet and Clank. I'm like, okay, pump the brakes. And the majority of the people that are saying that won't even play this game.
You know what? And that's one of my topics. I do want to do the whole Xbox Game Pass discussion because Xbox Game Pass, I know with all this Halo stuff that came up, we've really kind of centered on that the past, maybe 6-7 hours. But my point being is this. Before, earlier in the week, I know Code, you did a Twitter Spaces. I know that King Thrash did one. I think J-Dub did one as well. Those are the three that I heard on the whole kind of the Game Pass Outriders. And listen, by the way, I think Code, I heard Code say this. I think even King Thrash said this. And if I'm putting words in your mouth, guys, tell me I'm wrong. But you guys even said Game Pass is not to blame for Outriders. Okay? But Code, Code, can you finish the sentence here? Because you said something that was Pulitzer, and I don't want to use the wrong words. You said Game Pass is not to blame for Outriders problem. However, you said Game Pass still plays a role in the discussion. And can you elaborate on what you meant by that? And if I tweaked words the wrong way, I apologize. You did that, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Nope, that was a good representation, Mooch. At the end of the day, actually, this didn't even come from me. This came from OBM. He said it in the Spaces. He just didn't say it as eloquently as I said. No, it was OBM.
Hey, King's like, that was me.
So here's the thing.
That was me, guaranteed for me.
As the industry adjusts and adapts to Game Pass and the service model, just like the whole the Black Widow woman, she's suing because they didn't count streaming. Yeah. So on and so forth. So Disney wanted to do basically box office, which be the equivalent of sales for People Can Fly, the dev behind Outriders. But then Square Enix has like downloads and that stuff from Game Pass, which would be the equivalent to the streaming numbers for a Black Widow movie. At the end of the day, OBM made a really good point. As the industry adjusts to Game Pass and services like Game Pass, you would be a fool to think that there will be some developers that simply get a bad deal. And there will be some developers that get a great deal. At the end of the day, it's not the fault of Game Pass, although it is realistic for Game Pass to factor into the conversation, because it is absolutely within the realm of reason that there will be some developers that simply get a bad deal. But as the industry adjusts and over time, the deals will become more and more fair because people know how to account for Game Pass and the impact that it will have on a dev team. So eventually we will reach a point where it's smooth sailing. But for now, it is ridiculous to think that there won't be a problem for some developers. The issue is when you have one group trying to act like Game Pass can never do any wrong, and then you got another group that's trying to make sure that Game Pass is only full of wrongdoings. And so that's where you clash, and nobody's paying attention to.
The one thing I want to say, because I gotta jump off. I gotta jump off. I gotta go because the one thing I always want to say is, like, I really think that we need to look at the problems that Microsoft has by pivoting over the last couple of years of just PC going everywhere day one. We've seen Joseph Staten say that the reason why they can't get all this to work is because they're saturated with devices that they got to have this game launch on. And this has been the inherent problem of this day and date PC thing, that this venture that Satya and Phil are trying to achieve with 2 billion games. It's affecting our games. And that's the thing we should focus on. Fans are fans. Fans are going to be back and forth. They're never going to be on the thing. Like, the problem is Phil and Satya and this model. And when people say it's our future, it better damn not be our future, because look at what's happening to our games on that platform with that kind of future.
There's something to be said there, you know, and you know, a lot of people don't want to necessarily.
I gotta go, though.
Jazz, thanks for joining us. I appreciate that.
Guys. Thank you very much.
I'll plug the show for you. I'll plug the channel.
I'll be doing a grind tonight probably if the kids go to sleep. All right, guys.
I'll be joining. That'd be great, Jazz. Thank you.
Yes.
But and you know, Code, I'll tell you, and maybe it's just the mentality, but there is something to it when you're trying to say that we're going to have a never-ending pot of games for you to be able to grab, you know, like a grab bag and keep pulling a game out. There is a point where there's, but there's a point where there's saturation, and what ends up happening is that, you know, it's again, I know we've all used this, so I won't get into a huge analogy here, but it's the buffet versus the steak dinner. It really is. And when I'm not saying you don't find a real gem at a buffet every once in a while, especially if you're in Vegas. But my point being is that it's very rare that happens, you know? So I think that's for me personally, my concern with something like a Game Pass is not that it's bad, not that it's going to kill the industry, nothing like that. I'm not going to go to extremes, but I'm going to say that I do believe from what I've seen so far since Game Pass has come out, realistically, except for MLB The Show, okay, I haven't seen a tremendous success. And I know you're going to go, well, Mooch, there's 5 or 6 developers. You know, the one guy who made Defenders, or, you know, these guys, those are small teams. Those they probably would have sold maybe 6,000 to 10,000 copies if they were just lost in a digital library or in a digital store. But now that they're on Game Pass, they're like, oh my God, 50,000 downloads. That's way more than we thought. Yes, of course it is. People will try it out. Good for you and good for your team. That's great. It's a great success story. It's a great after-school special. But for me personally, it doesn't mean that I can't wait to come home from a long day's work and pop on a game like Defenders. That's a me thing. Not saying that anyone else can't enjoy it. It's a me thing. So that's the thing. I'm seeing a lot of positive content come from the smaller developers, but they're not games that are really like that wholesome feeling that we're used to playing, or what I thought we were going to get promised from Xbox. That's where I think Jez is coming from, and I don't want to speak for him. He had to leave. But that's my take on something like that.
Can I
go ahead?
Take on it?
Please, Ken. Go ahead.
All right, because I'm the one who said that shit. I'm a fucking beast. All right, I've been said it, but they got it wrong. They mix the numbers up. Look, let me tell you what it is. It's three different parties, and all three are wrong. All right. Microsoft walks out with the best bag because getting Outriders on Game Pass got them so much attention, got them so much publicity that it helped Game Pass overall. Square Enix is getting bad press because of what's going on with People Can Fly, and obviously People Can Fly is pissed off because they haven't got their money or the numbers so they can calculate how much money they get.
Mm-hmm.
Where the problem persists with Microsoft is that it's not what people are missing is that it's not the developer, it's the publisher who talks to Microsoft, and there's a difference. That's why the smaller developers have fun with it. The NDIs, because they usually publish themselves, so they have a better relationship. They're not dealing with a publisher that's a big time publisher. And so with the smaller teams, yeah, they have fun with it because usually they publish themselves, or they like I just said. But with the bigger teams or even medium level like AA games like Outriders is, it's different because you got People Can Fly and they signed a contract with Square Enix before Game Pass existed. Like this game was being made over years.
That's right.
So it was outside of the contract. So what Microsoft is doing is finding games outside of the contract to where they can take advantage of that and give the publisher money, and the publisher doesn't have to cut in the developer. But what that does is this game now is on Game Pass. Developer gets no money from the publisher off of that Game Pass deal, and then Game Pass systematically takes away the units and royalties from the developers, and that's how the developers get hurt. So they get fucked twice, because this is the work that they worked on for all these years, and then the publisher gets paid from Microsoft, and they can't get none. And then on top of that, they don't get royalties on the Xbox side. Not to mention that there are some people who have both consoles or a PC and an Xbox, and instead of buying that game like they would have pre-ordered the game, canceled the fucking pre-order because they got it on Xbox and they have Game Pass on Xbox, so they lost units from all sides of where Outriders was at. That's why they're pissed off, and the only reason we hear about it right now, I'm pretty sure it happened plenty of times, is because people cannot get in contact with Square Enix. Square Enix isn't giving them their numbers. They aren't giving them all that. And the only way that they can bring attention to it is to go to the press or to go somewhere to where the information is going to be out, to where Square Enix get bad press. And then that's when they will start making moves. That's the only reason why we heard about it. We haven't heard about it in other instances because it wasn't so bad to where the publisher wasn't telling them how many units they actually got. And the same exact thing happened to Sony. Microsoft won on that too. MLB The Show got published by MLB. That's why Sony wasn't at the table when that deal went down. So they didn't get money off that Game Pass deal. They got money off the royalties of DLC and units sold. That's what they got from the Xbox side because they didn't pay for that. MLB did. So it's like you got to really, it's more about the publisher and not the developer.
Right.
I don't know who ODM is, but then again, he ain't me, and he ain't got the skills that I got to think about what I think about. That's what I got to say on
That's
that.
my man, King. I'm glad you said that. Go ahead, Brap.
Mooch, you know what I was going to say? Grub talked about this on his show today too, and I do agree with him. I think
Grub actually just agreed with King Thresh as well. He said that it's the publisher that's the villain
it's
here.
Publisher. It really highlights like the underbelly of the industry. There was a great article on Games Industry Biz about the game industry, gamesindustry.biz, about lopsided contracts in the gaming industry, and they talked about this particular incident with People Can Fly and Square Enix. And there's one part that really stuck out to me, and it was that, and I'm quoting the article. They're saying there are all sorts of problems that this highlights. The creeping adoption of Hollywood accounting by the games industry, moving costs and liabilities around to keep games unprofitable on paper, thus avoiding various contract conditions being met and royalties being paid. And this is actually
who's investigating this though, Brett?
This is the whole Scarlett Johansson thing, by the way, with Disney. Like this.
So you're saying it's easier for them to hide. Well, let me tell you something. This is something I've said for a long time too. Microsoft did this. Microsoft's the only company doing it in the games world that I know. They're not revealing any numbers. Well, listen, when you clearly say I'm not going to reveal any numbers anymore, that doesn't just make it hard for us, the consumer. It's always been hard for the consumer to find out. It's harder for journalists. And maybe, just maybe, it's even harder for investors to find out the actual numbers. You know, they're able to manipulate the system. Like, that's what they're saying. Game Pass has got 18 million. But is it 18 million what? 18 million active? They haven't said, and then they haven't even mentioned a new number in ages. You know, and Microsoft loves to tout new numbers. So the thing about it is that when you say this, that's interesting. And I implore a lot of the gaming journalists to take a look into that. Who's finding out if these numbers being reported are actually correct? And that's what's led to People Can Fly saying, we don't even know. Can you believe? Could you believe making a game and not knowing how many games you sold?
Wow.
Yeah.
Come on.
I gotta be honest with
Especially when it's your money. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, you go ask.
Do the math.
I don't know about
you. Can't even do the math to add up your money.
If you were to ask anybody, right?
Units to get your percentage to get how much money you're owed. They don't even know how much money they're owed.
King, half the people I know from my growing up, my heritage, I had a pizzeria myself. Listen, I'm telling you right now, okay? If you said to me, Mooch, how many pizzas you sell tonight? I'm going to spit a number out that is to the penny right in front of you. I know how many I sold.
Wait, Mooch,
like, you always know what you sell. Oh yeah, buddy. What do you? I'm starving all the time.
Wait. Was it a Chicago deep dish?
No, New York all day. New York all day. Oh, you know this, of course, naturally. But you guys got it. That's the thing. How can People Can Fly? They literally said we don't know how many we sold. Something's not right. Something's simply not right.
Well, I mean, you know what's crazy is that, like, I think Square Enix said, oh, it's like sold 3 million copies, right? And
No,
what I heard,
no,
or
No,
was it-
no.
no,
They had
no,
three
no,
million
no. He
players.
said
Three
3
No, no.
million players. He said players. That's
3
a
million
big
players.
difference.
Okay, yeah.
there.
Hold on a second.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
players-
address something real quick. Jeff says, okay, he says, but Square Enix does have the numbers. This is not a Microsoft. No. I'm making a correlation, Jeff, and I'm not trying to tie this to Microsoft. This has nothing to do with Microsoft, and it has nothing to do with Game Pass. Nothing. I'll put that on the record. Nothing. What I meant, Jeff, was this. What BRAP was talking about how the whole thing that's going on with Disney and the Scarlett Johansson thing, and then also the situation where people can fly said we don't know the numbers. I'm just saying whether it's Microsoft with their sales numbers, or it's Square Enix with the sales numbers for People Can Fly, or it's you guys in the journalism world and us, the consumer who used to always hear sales every quarter. Now we just hear a percentage of something went up in revenue. These are the more you allow to get farther and farther away from the actual math, that's the more that you can actually manipulate the truth. And that's the fact. They can manipulate it because they're holding all the cards, and everyone's okay with them holding the cards. I think that Microsoft should have to say what they actually sold. I'm not saying I have any say in that. That's just what I'm saying. I'm sure Square Enix, I'm pretty sure People Can Fly, if they were listening to this, would go, I would like to know too, Mooch. That's what I'm saying. It's not Microsoft blaming them for that. I'm saying the more you conceal numbers, the more you can manipulate the truth. It's just the way it is.
Do they? So,
Hey,
so
Jeff,
it was 3 million players though. It was not games sold, right?
It was players.
Yeah, it's 3 million players.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
As
so
far as what you're saying, Jeff, it's not Microsoft
No,
or Game Pass's
no,
fault.
not at all.
I don't think anybody is saying that. I'm saying that they're part of the problem. They are a new avenue for publishers to be deceptive with, and it's not just Game Pass. It's all services like Scarlett Johansson and Disney Plus. It's services. Period. This problem will solve itself once developers start putting it in the contract about how much money they'll get paid from services. If the publisher were to go service, they're going to say we want this much percentages from that. The problem is that wasn't in the contract because services like that wasn't around like this. It wasn't a option for publishers, so they took advantage of that because games take years to make. But now developers are all watching right now, and this is going to hurt all services at the end of the day because people even in the movie industry are seeing that the work that they do, they aren't getting paid for, and they all should be getting paid for it.
Facts.
So Microsoft and Game Pass is part of the services. So is PS Now, depending on how they do their shit. But at the end of the day, those services are taking away money from the developers or the actors that they deserve. And these are the people who actually make the content for us, the gamers. The publishers don't fucking make it. It's the fucking developers. And if they don't get paid their money, they shut down, they suffer, whatever the fuck they do, it's going to affect gaming as a whole. So no, Microsoft isn't the fucking guy, but Microsoft is part of the problem. And if you ignore that, then the problem will fucking continue, or we just won't know shit and we're just hiding shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We won't know. We just won't know. Go ahead, Salt.
The reason why Microsoft's involved in this, and we all know it, right, is that this was one of the big AAA games that was released on the service day and date. It was being touted as this huge get for the service. You couldn't go 5 feet without finding an article saying, Game Pass is taking that next step. MLB The Show and Outriders, right? That was the narrative, and the narrative was the 3 million players, and it was being touted as this smash success. And then all of a sudden you get those publications at launch, right? We're just smashing expectations. We're doing this. So we're getting all that fed to us, not only from Microsoft or, YouTube channels or Square Enix or People Can Fly. Everybody was saying it was a success, right? And then all of a sudden, you go down the line, you fast forward, and then you're getting contrary results, right? That's the biggest thing. It's like you're getting told one thing, and then down the line, when the rubber meets the road, you're actually seeing what was the real truth. The real truth was Outriders was questionable. Square Enix is like, hey, we could cut that fat deal with Microsoft and get an easy check.
Yep.
And it was questionable from the beginning. So all these fake narratives were spun in the beginning, and if results are getting fed or not, it's just it is what it is. That's why Microsoft's being brought into this. It's not like they were the responsible party or anything, but it feeds into that narrative of sustainability for Xbox Game Pass, because if you're going to get a big AAA game that's day and date, it's a questionable one. Besides MLB The Show, that's kind of an outlier situation. But if you look at Sean Layden, he said how many millions of subscribers you would need to sustain the process. In reality, what you're getting on Game Pass is indies and first-party offerings from Microsoft. That's it. And then a scattered AAA offering. So that's the only reason why Xbox is included in here. You know what I'm saying? No one's saying they're at fault.
Right.
You know?
And I'm glad you clarified that, Salt. I completely agree with that. I got a couple super chats here, and then I do have
hold on. Let me point something out real quick. Is People Can Fly were real quick to say after Square announced that it was going to be on Game Pass to say, please don't cancel your pre-orders. Please still buy the game.
Right.
Yeah.
They did say that. They begged people. They said, please don't cancel your pre-orders. Please buy the game.
They get paid by unit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
And the interesting thing is, I can remember when Cyberpunk was rumored to be either release day and date on Game Pass or shortly thereafter. They were real quick to respond. Nope, no Game Pass. And the same thing with Control. When Phil Spencer kind of leaked it out, they're like, no, we're not going to Game Pass. And I don't think you say that. Because I think like Game Pass for a lot of people is like you'll see a game that's maybe fizzled out. It's kind of like when you see a PlayStation exclusive go to PC. It's like you've seen that game sell for $5 on their sales. They've already reached the maximum amount of sales that they can get.
Right.
So you'll see
now
games
they doubled
that maybe
dip.
and that you see games that maybe underperformed or have reached their potential, and then they go to Game Pass, right? I think probably when it comes to Outriders, the pre-orders were probably extremely low on Xbox. And, they come up with this deal. And then, next thing you know, you have Square Enix wheeling and dealing, and Xbox like, yeah, for sure. But there's also this thing called Hollywood, accounting that somebody brought up earlier. And a good example of that is there's a Harry Potter movie called Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix that made almost $1 billion worldwide. Harry Potter, the Warner Brothers actually reported a loss of over $160 million due to quote unquote creative bookkeeping. Right. So a movie that cost $150 million to make and made almost $1 billion at the box office. The studio reported a loss of over $167 million on the film because they did Hollywood accounting, which is basically it's a movie industry thing that's now moving to gaming, where studios inflate expenditures in an effort to reduce like your profits. This in turn lowers the amount corporations need to pay in taxes, royalty, and profit sharing agreements. So, I mean, this is basically
love
what's going
capitalism.
On.
Woo!
Yeah, well, I do, but I mean, this is like, pretty agreed. They're not going to go with Square anymore, right? I mean, they're not.
No.
They're going to do your own thing.
This isn't the first time. This isn't even Square's first rodeo. There's another studio who complained about not getting their numbers in time from Square. So whenever a game does bad, Square kind of
was it Hitman? Was it the Hitman?
I forgot. Was it Hitman? I think it was.
I think it might have been Hitman, King Thresh.
Yeah. I think it was Hitman. In fact, and they got withheld the same thing. But when something does bad, Square does that shit. They got the right to do. I think they got to reach a certain goal to get the numbers or to get paid. And Square Enix like, I'm not gonna give you numbers until you're ready to get paid. And if you didn't reach that goal number, then nigga, you're gonna get paid whatever we agreed if you didn't reach that goal number.
That's right. You know what I mean? And that's a set amount. Couple of super chats here, and then I do want to talk about something it's another hot topic of the week. I know with everything that happened today, we kind of forgot about some of these things, but they do need to be discussed. A Q perspective.
Halo.
What's that?
Delay Halo.
Delay Halo. It's going to be a new hashtag. A Q Perspective says, so Sony fans are hyped when Rockstar Games release a game in steps with story first, then multiplayer months later is fine, and when The Last of Us 2 Factions multiplayer is years later. So that's something I saw today, not just by Q Perspective, but I saw that a lot on Twitter. People were like, how come the PlayStation fans weren't chiming in when The Last of Us... Now, I'll speak for myself here, and you guys know this.
They were.
I know I was, and crap, you know this as well. I platinumed The Last of Us remastered, and in order to do that, you have to play insult a testament to this, you have to play a healthy amount of factions. I love factions, and I'll tell you right now, that broke my heart. It broke my goddamn heart. Then when things started to leak out way later that they have this big plan for factions, I was able to kind of swallow the pill a little bit easier. But I wasn't quiet. I wasn't silent about it. And I was pissed off on Twitter, and I was pissed on multiple podcasts. So Acute, I don't think that necessarily that's the sentiment coming out here. I think the other thing that comes with it is that Microsoft
And their
said
game
this game
launched complete.
Right, the game launched complete. Right,
And
the
won
single
Game
player
of the
was
Year, so give me a
complete.
break.
Right.
Wait, hold on. Who said this? Who said this in the first place? Who said this?
Acute Perspective 2021.
Acute Perspective. Oh, not Acute. We answering him. He can't even talk straight. Look, let me tell you like this, bro. We went so hard on them that they put out a statement. All right. So that's what happened. If you can sit here right now today and think people don't remember, but I do. I remember everything. I remember what color drawers my wife had on when I first hit that. What I'm trying to tell you is,
What color?
is that we went hard.
BRAP.
So hard. We went hard, bro. We went hard on Joel dying, bro. We went hard.
I know, right?
On the
Facts.
actress
Facts.
of Abby. The
Facts.
actress of Abby, the actress, not the she wasn't the game. She didn't write the script. She was just the voice.
The voice
And they
actress,
went
yeah.
Incredibly hard on her.
King.
I'm sorry, bro. You are incredibly wrong.
People, King, you were right. People, they were like, I love The Last of Us. I'm not playing 2 because of Abby. Or because of what happened to Joel.
Which,
People
by the
like,
way,
oh,
is
they're cute about
absolutely
that
ridiculous. That's one of my all-time favorite games. If you haven't played The Last of Us 2, I highly recommend.
And then they played it anyway. Let's
Right,
be honest.
exactly.
Yeah.
Salt.
And beat it, played it, and beat it. It was one of the most beat games in history.
It is, right?
And they got, and
Hi-
they- and they
one of the
got-
highest
and they got the
completion
platinum
rates.
at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
but you best believe that. You best believe they called. They. It was hell even before. Remember, it was leaked, and it was just crazy. People were going crazy. You had Anita Sarkeesian over there, half happy, half mad. She didn't know what to do. You had Tiger Woods and shit because he heard a golf club. I mean, people were. I don't understand. Don't pretend like we gonna forget. We are not gonna forget.
That's great. Shout out to Glitzer. He says 343's Pizza. Here you go. Here's a pizza reference for you, BRAP. He says 343 Pizza. Order tonight, and they'll send you the dough and the sauce. You get the cheese and the toppings in a few months. Shout out to Glitzer. Shout out to the great.
It reminds me of the original Star Wars figures that Kn1ght launched, right? So the movie comes out in 1977, and Kn1ght didn't have the toys ready. So
I
you
have
had to
those.
buy, you had to buy a gift certificate that
Early
says
bird
here's a
special.
coupon. Yeah, here's a coupon, and then you got it months later. Like three months later or something. Like, here's your coupon for Christmas for these Star Wars figures. You're gonna get them 3 months later. You know what I'm saying? That's what it sort of reminds me of. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, come on, let's get this shit.
You know
worked
what's
out,
funny
yeah.
is that was my Christmas one year where my parents were like, by the way, they're coming like in 2 months.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
that coupon,
like,
I remember that. That's funny.
I wasn't born till like after the first 3 originally came out. But yeah,
I'm old, but not as old as Code. So
yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, just reminded that because I like the kind of like the how they did that with the toys and stuff back then. I watched the Toys That Made Us, and they were talking about that. I just found that to be very interesting because up to that point, whenever a movie had toys, once the movie was out of theaters, the toys didn't sell shit because the really hilarious thing is that Mattel passed on it. They were like, we can't get anything made by Christmas time. Nobody's gonna want to buy it after that, and so they actually passed up on that shit, and it was like one of the biggest mistakes they ever made, obviously. But yeah, so it's very interesting stuff. I don't know.
That is good to know. And shout out to the great Royal Boyle 78. He says, CrossFire, what's good panel and shoot? You like that? Chat. Mooch, he says, always here to show love and support. Have a great show. Royal Boyle, thank you so much for being here, buddy. And prayers are definitely with the family, man, as always.
Yeah.
And then I got a super chat here from Jeff. It's not Jeff Grubb. This is Jeff. We always go through this every time I say Jeff, they're like, Jeff Grubb? I'm like, no, Jeff. This is Jeff. Jeff says, Xbox gamers are too busy pointing Sony's unsafe use of the grill, not noticing their house is on fire. Well, I mean, we touched on that, Jeff, a bit. Shout out to Sono Fino, who has subscribed to the channel. I appreciate that. The great Sir X-Man's back. He says, the new Microsoft's turned me into an alcoholic. Facts. So shout out to Sir X-Man. Sir X-Man, take it easy on the bottle. Mr. Heisenberg, he says, I have an air station. He said, I have an art station account. And I just got an email of job openings, including 343 Industries. So there's something interesting. A little bit of a inside tip there from Mr. Heisenberg. Sir X-Man is back, and he says Microsoft is starting to create a bad reputation with Game Pass. If they don't get this stuff together, if they don't get their stuff together, they're going to lose developers and games for Game Pass. Shout out to the great BRAP who's here on the panel. He says, hit that like button. Please do, everybody. He says, New York pizza over Chicago pizza. I can't help but agree with him. can't help but agree with him. If I wasn't on this crazy diet, I'd order 2 pizzas after this show. And this is the great Jeff Grubb. The great Jeff Grubb here, he says, good show, y'all. Do you think Microsoft took out the trash Halo news on a Friday so it could try to reset with better news at Gamescom next week? That's something interesting.
Doesn't everyone do that on a Friday? They usually
that's what I was
going to.
Isn't that's like the business industry, right? What do they say? When you're a manager and you fire people, you always fire them on a Friday, not a Monday?
Right.
It's like less chance for issues to occur. Let's put it that way.
Right.
You mean like people showing up and like shooting up the place?
Well, I think, or them. Yeah, it's that the ratio there. Actually, I got to give Jeff credit there. With Gamescom and Microsoft seemingly the only folks there out of the big three. I don't know if is Nintendo reportedly at Gamescom. I know Sony's not.
Sony's not. I don't know if Nintendo is, but
Sony's like, we don't need Gamescom. Gamescom needs us.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. And Nintendo can say that because they're selling like hotcakes right now.
So I think that Jeff makes a hell of a point.
Gamescom are people who need it. People who need Gamescom are people who go.
But the thing is, what's funny? You say that, King, and I would agree with you right away. My only if is this: why is it that it's a digital showcase? So basically, it's the same thing, but that Sony's doing, but you got Jeff Keighley hosting it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know.
Yeah, what you also have is a deadline. You know what I'm saying? You have a deadline. You have to have all your shit ready to go when Gamescom is ready to go. Right. If Sony doesn't go, they can go whenever they want to go. They don't have a deadline. They have the way to make it less stressful for their developers. They can do it whenever they want to. If they go E3 or if they do Gamescom, they have a deadline to get everything finished, and that puts.
Let me ask Salt.
It takes out time from their.
Let me ask Salt and King.
I agree with Gro, by the way.
No, I do too. I think they definitely wanted this out of the way. So they don't have to even mention it next week. They don't have to even talk about it. But I want to ask Salt a question here.
It will damper the other stuff.
Because I want to get Salt and King are definitely the two guys on the panel that are usually the most outspoken on Twitter and on YouTube about this. Salt, what's your take? Okay, just to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Should Sony have had a conference of sorts by now, or do they not need it? What's your opinion on the fact that we haven't heard anything about a PlayStation event?
So this was the last topic on the Salty's Gaming podcast last night. Lots of people say that we just, 100% just cap for PlayStation. We never critique them. We never ask better for them. You saw that in the chat tonight, right? People have, certain memories. They won't recall things when you say it. I've been vocal about this. It's almost been a year since Sony had its last major presentation. That's when they revealed God of War Ragnarok, the new Final Fantasy. A year's worth of time is a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're not at E3 anymore. All these insiders have been proven wrong and wrong and wrong. Time and time again. They're pulling out dates out there. And it's being wrong on. It's just, does Sony need to do it? I mean, let's put quotations around need. No, they don't. Obviously, they're the leaders of the market right now. When you're looking at them, they're just selling. You can't even get a PlayStation right now, PlayStation 5, right? But so do they need to do it? No, but should they do it? Yes, because the fan base deserves to know what's going on down the road, right? Because we really don't know what's going on past what they talked about and what they've been revealing in blog posts. There's rumors of, Horizon Forbidden West being delayed into 2022. People don't know what the roadmap is beyond what we saw pretty much a year ago. So, like, radio silence is not the way, in my opinion. They need to have an event, and it needs to be pretty big because you're not at E3. You're not doing Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show, all this stuff. We're in a pandemic situation. And they said their new route is to do their own shows and do smaller shows and more events and stuff like that. We'll get to it. Let's get to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's have a show. Like, it's been too long. We're gonna hit that year mark. Show people what we're gonna see in 2022 and 23. They have stuff in the works. Like, it's. Leaks don't happen on the Sony side for a reason, because they got that shit sealed up, right? It's not like they're scared to reveal stuff. It's just it all has a timeline, But yes, they do need to have a show soon, September. Let's go.
No,
you know?
I
Hopefully
appreciate
they have.
that.
Hopefully
Salt.
they have something. But I mean, you think about how Sony's probably looking at it, and they're like, I mean, look at what Microsoft has in terms of games this year. Big AAA. It's Halo, which now looks like is going to be kind of incomplete, and then Forza. Cool. Next year, if it does end up being true, I mean, obviously they want to show off the new God of War, but if it is true, Horizon 2 is pushed back, you're gonna have Horizon 2, God of War, Gran Turismo 7 for Spoken, possibly Final Fantasy 16 as being launch exclusives on the PlayStation 5. I mean, there's 5 pretty big size games right there. So who knows what they're really thinking about. I mean, in terms of PlayStation, they're like, well, we got Deathloop coming out. Ghostwire Tokyo coming out next year as a 1-year timed exclusive. So they might be thinking, hey, we got content, but they should 100% keep people in the loop. I don't care what's going on.
Yes.
You are a billion-dollar company. You should be able to get out there and do a video and let people know what to expect. We all went out there and risk our shit going out there and buying your $500 console. Tell us what's coming down the pipeline. You know what I mean? I think that's just a little bit of decency on their part would have been nice to do that. I just it's been a long time, and it's like I think the indies and stuff are fine. They aren't for me though. Like a lot of people throw those lists of indies up. I don't give 2 shits about them. 12 minutes, 18 minutes, Ascents and all that. I don't give a shit about any of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want the big reasons why I bought the game. These consoles.
I want some bangers.
For these, yeah, exactly. I want the games.
That's
that
an
really,
interesting. It's an interesting point because there's a lot of times, crap. I'll say this much. I'm right there with you. I mean, I want the PlayStation and the Xbox for the big games. I really, really do. And I don't mind that. Like I said, I'm enjoying the Ascent. I'm not. I would never waste anybody's time on the panel or in the chat to tell you need to play it. You either know if you like that game or not. Like, there's nothing that I would even be able to do in a review that would talk you into playing that game if that's not the style type of game you like to play. It just isn't. I'm sorry. So that's the type of thing when it comes to that. Go ahead, Worry.
No, can we just be honest about Deathloop? It just looks kind of mid. I don't know. Some people might be looking forward to that, and this has nothing to do with Bethesda because some people they make that narrative, but I think the general consensus is this game it just doesn't have that look to it. I think if you took a poll, I don't know, you couldn't take it on my Twitter because people said it would say it was skewed,
right?
But that game just looks mid to me. I don't know, and you have that as one of your.
It looks like a high end of a AA, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it. Like I get that. I think it looks interesting, but there's probably a reason why years ago me and Mooch were like, Microsoft has to get some of these Bethesda games in Game Pass day and date because they drop price really quick. That's probably one of those games that'll be $20 within the first 2 months, 2 or 3 months. You know what I mean? Like I just think that people aren't going to really relate to it much.
My thing with this, to answer Salty's question about that game is, I started very high on that game. You guys can know I've been talking about it since we've seen it. And every time I see a little bit more of it, it doesn't drop a lot, but it does drop a little bit. And the main reason is this. The premise behind that game, if I'm understanding it right, please correct me if I'm wrong, is that the game is about, it's a loop, right? It's a loop. So Returnal's a loop. Hades is a loop. I love Returnal. I love Hades because those 2 games keep me wanting to keep getting back into the action. What I'm concerned about with this game is the lore and the gameplay. Is it going to be a lot of stealth and creeping around, and then it's 45 minutes of literally doing not a lot, and then you die and you got to start all over? Like, I don't know yet. I don't know enough about it. And shout out to Persona, who's in the chat. Him and Jay Barry were kind of funny on Twitter today. They were like, oh my God, another 25 minutes showing of Deathloop? As much as I agree with Persona and Jay Barry, shout out to them both. I'm going to be on What's Up PlayStation tomorrow morning, too. But I got to tell you this much. As much as I agree with them that we don't need another 25-minute showing of it, I kind of need another 25-minute showing of it because I don't really know what the lore is for me to keep doing that loop, because when you have a game that is just going to keep taking you in the same exact levels, I don't care if it's changed because of what is it, pre-rendered or whatever that term is there, and when the map just consistently changes left and right, that's not enough to necessarily keep you enthralled for 60, 70 hours of gameplay. So I need to see a little bit more of that. So, Salt, to answer your question, I don't know. It
just looks like a reskinned Dishonored to me, or one of their other games. Doesn't really,
very similar.
Can I chime in real quick?
Go ahead, Brad.
I don't think a reskinned Dishonored thing. Dishonored is a bad thing.
It is for me. I hated Dishonored.
Was a really good game. Well,
it all depends.
Dishonored was a good game though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It all depends on if you like
Yeah.
Dishonored or not. I can see where that line. I mean,
I
like
hope it's
Dishonored.
not like Dishonored. I hope it's,
I'm not a big
it's-
fan of that
Yeah.
Dishonored.
I
Well, it
loved
has
it.
its
I was
different
a
look.
big
I
fan
mean,
of Dishonored.
I mean, I'm getting it because it's black people. I'm like, black power. Nigga, I'm getting it.
Okay. Yeah.
But
we need some more
I
Latino
mean, I see
representation.
where
in
Scott's
games.
coming
That's
from.
right.
No,
Hey, but
go ahead.
the
Scott.
last game that Arcane Studios did was so they put out Wolfenstein Youngblood, which was just an abomination.
good.
You know what I'm
Not
saying?
good.
Yeah. And then Prey, I tried that in Game Pass, I believe, and I stopped playing after an hour. So I
Well, it's
haven't had a
okay, it
good
was in
track
Game
record
Pass.
with them. Yeah, it's free. You know what I'm saying? It's $1. But
Halo's
Yeah,
not complete, but who cares? It's in Game Pass.
yeah, it's just I don't know. This game for me, I don't even know if I buy it on sale. And then to have that as one of your major gets for PlayStation to kind of hang your hat on, and then Ghostwire Tokyo, who knows when the hell that's coming out.
Yeah, we haven't really seen enough
next
on that
year.
yet. Yeah.
They can't all be home runs, I guess. I mean, look,
It's true.
they both do that shit. I mean, can you imagine going in there and being like, hey,
Are you saying the bar is so high because of quality?
I would assume so. And listen, I think the game will probably score
PlayStation, right?
somewhere. Yeah, the game will probably score decent enough, but it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't see that game resonating with people. Like, there's not a hook there, in my opinion. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just for me personally. And like, how could they know? It's like when Microsoft partnered with Evolve on that game with the Xbox One. Remember? How could they know? Because Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 were awesome, and then they partnership with the same studio for this new game that looks great, and it sucked. It's like you can't really tell what's going to happen with these partnerships ahead of time. So it's always kind of a strange situation. But yeah, it's going to be like I'll play it for sure, or I'll at least try it. If only there was a place I could try it for $1.
Oh, geez, I know a place.
Do you?
Just subscribe
Yes.
to temper your expectations, Pass.
Bro, it would be
wow.
perfect. It'd be perfect in Game Pass,
Worry.
man.
Worry, you have another Guinness?
Yeah, I did. I'm fucked up.
That's great.
Are y'all saying? Are y'all talking about paying the demo games? Y'all do that.
Shout out to Face23. He says, I've seen people on Twitter complaining about Skyrim isn't the upgrade free. By the way, shout out to Face, because that's where I was going to go next. That's the next subject here.
This
Is
topic.
Ghost of Tsushima's director's cut, right? Releases today. And what are the fans saying about the upgrade and, the additional cost? Is this like, because that was a big deal a couple weeks ago, right? That was a huge deal that Sony's charging. And now, of course, the anniversary for Skyrim is coming out. And there is a portion of it.
Fishing.
They added the fishing, I think, is the free part. And then the rest of it is not. You do have to pay. And I thought that we were going to be getting free upgrades. It is a bit confusing. And then also there's also the miscommunication of why is it that these games, and I did get a good answer. Shout out to Lord Addict who gave the answer. I thought he gave a really good answer when people were saying, why is it that Quake and Skyrim Anniversary are on PlayStation when clearly everything is going to be on Xbox moving forward? And I think that the answer was right, is that these are legacy games. These are older games. So they were on PlayStation at one point in time. They're not going to take them off PlayStation. So
all right.
Go ahead, Salt.
The thing is I could talk for an hour on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft and Xbox will do whatever's the best financially for them. Okay, they're a business. So why aren't these games dropped in their day and date? Or why aren't they ripping them off other platforms? It's because they're going to make money on them. Come on, man. I mean, it's simple. The thing is they need to have a little nugget for their fan base too, right? So if they say legacy titles, what does that mean? I mean, you can get a lawyer out there and read the fine print, but we all know it could be changed at any point because Phil Spencer says one thing and does another all the time. So even if he did say that just from this point on, all Bethesda games are on Xbox and it's not on anything else, it could change on a whim. The thing is like with Skyrim, Director's Cut, or any other titles, it's just like, or what about Fallout? That's a legacy title, in my opinion, right? Or what about Elder Scrolls? Because we saw that with Skyrim. The new Elder Scrolls, is that legacy because it's a franchise that was established and has a base on other consoles? The thing with Starfield, it's a new IP, so you don't have an established base for that. So yeah, let's make that what it is, which is an exclusive. The thing is like they could have their cake and eat it too if they feel like it. If it was just 100%, hey, we're stopping it, the buck stops here. I think it would just be a solid line saying, hey, everything's exclusive. Boom. But it's not like that. Like Psychonauts is on every platform.
Right.
Outer Worlds was on every platform. Minecraft is still on every platform. They could have made Minecraft exclusive when they acquired Mojang, but they didn't because it's a money thing. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Like you can, that's the answer. That's it.
Well,
Yeah,
look,
no, that's a great answer. Go ahead, King.
I have an answer. I have an answer too, and like that guy said in the super chat that I am the most handsome on the panel, so I'm pretty sure my answer counts more than yours. Nah, it's similar to what Salty is saying. It's gonna be what the fuck it's gonna be. I mean, listening to these execs and listening to developers means absolutely nothing. We should have learned that lesson with Metal Gear Solid 5, with Kojima pretending that a whole fucking other studio made this game, and then all these other people were going along with it, pretending that it wasn't what it was. I mean that's equal to lying. That's equal to saying, "Hey, nigga, we giving you one thing, but it's really another."
Right.
But that's just gonna do whatever. $7.5 billion is not a little bit of money. They're gonna want to make 3 times that back to call it a successful
Absolutely.
purchase. And that's going to be extremely hard to do on the one console that sells the least of everything out of everything in gaming. You got to understand Xbox is at the bottom of the totem pole in gaming, and that's not no console war shit. It's not selling better than Nintendo, not selling better than PlayStation, not selling better than PC, and not selling better than cell phones. So it's at the bottom of the totem pole, and it's going to be extremely hard to make that money back, especially when you're also pushing a service that is also costing you money. So I honestly hope that Bethesda, every single game stays on Xbox as exclusive, because I mean that's what making the Xbox as a console worth something. But at the end of the day, man, money talks and bullshit walks. And if they need that money, they're gonna get that money. If Starfield may be 1 month exclusive to Xbox, you never know. You know what I'm saying? Like I've heard exclusive many a time, exclusive. And then next thing you know, 6 months later it's on PlayStation.
Right.
So they can play with those words.
Like the Medium, right? That was never going to come to PlayStation.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it's on PlayStation.
It's a miracle.
Plenty of games, plenty of different things. I mean, same thing with that bird
Medium,
game.
actually, she saw that coming, by the way.
Who did?
That was That was just a really bad joke about the Medium.
She saw that coming.
She saw that coming.
Very nice. Hey, you know, while I got King, while you're on a rant here, I got to say, first of all, let me read King. King Thresh did throw another super chat out there. He says he was responding to Jeff Grubb's comment about getting the bad news out of the way. He asked about Gamescom. King back to Jeff says, he says, nah, Grubb, they're going to show E3 trailers and announce Game Pass games, super chat complete. I think that, yeah, so King, that is definitely what Xbox is probably going to.
So many times. That's happened so many times. I remember that they had one E3 and they had Gamescom. They showed everything they showed at E3, and the only difference was a Minecraft controller.
Yeah, Gamescom is a repeat. This is basically a repeat. Yeah.
It's going to be a repeat of what they showed.
It's a rerun. But King, while I have you here, I don't like usually jumping, but a Q Perspective comes back, and I'm going to read this because he actually you can almost put this in the music. He says, King Thrash, your nonsensical Sony rhetoric is ridiculous. Let's compare Microsoft's E3 to Sony State of Play games. You can't play in current state or the Scooby-Doo Blues Clues Blue Box conspiracy when E3 ended. I mean, that was pretty, right? He said the Scooby-Doo Blues Clues.
Yeah, he's real talented at
he got that one, right?
Making words.
What do you think about that, though, King?
He don't even got an Xbox. But what I think about this is, if you want to look at Sony State of Play, you want to talk about looking at Sony State of Play versus Xbox's E3. How about you go look at Sony State of Play views and then go look at Xbox E3's views and then really see who's getting more attention. It doesn't matter. You don't need E3 anymore, bro. Like, I mean, go look at the Horizon trailer and then go look at Xbox and you see it tripled Xbox's whole E3. It just is what it is, bro.
So
it just is what it is.
I want to address the chat real quick because I said some stuff about people are saying, Jim Ryan lies more than Phil Spencer, and I said they both lie. They're both businessmen. That's what businessmen do. They do whatever they need to do to make that dollar. Yeah, the difference between PlayStation fans and Xbox fans is PlayStation fans, a majority of them hate Lion Jim Ryan. They'll call him that. They don't give a fuck if he gets fired tomorrow. The other thing. What's up?
Real quick, they don't like him. They really like Sean Layden.
Oh yeah,
and they're
Sean
very
Lane,
vocal about
yes,
that.
Yeah. And
they're like, fuck Jim Ryan.
The thing is like, why are they mad at him? Because they don't. He's not doing what they want. But the thing with Phil, it's like he's untouchable. He's like almost this. I don't know, this
John
leader
Gotti.
for them.
Teflon
it's like he
Don.
lights some fucking candles for him and put a little worshiping thing for him. For a lot of these dudes, if Phil Spencer was at A3 and they brushed him, they would save that shirt, cut it off, and put it in a keepsake. That's the difference. It's like one man's this idol and the other man is just a face. Like, honestly, like PlayStation dudes, if you're not putting out results, get rid of Jim Ryan and some other dude will step up, because that's what it is. And that's the difference there. They both lie. They're not your friend and they don't give a fuck about you. They care about the dollar. That's it. I don't know what else to tell people. And that's it is what it is.
Yeah, it's across both platforms. That's 100% right,
Yeah,
Salt.
yeah.
Philsbury 27, he says, this is going to be a problem for this generation. Developers need to speak up now and control their IPs. Shout out to King Thrash, Crap Gamer, and Optimus Code for telling the truth. Great show. Thanks, Phils. I appreciate that. And the great BRAP, Basement Arcade, he says, just go PC. Best platform. We don't pay for community mods, and we get stuff for free that console games pay for.
I agree. PlayStation centric. PC. Do it.
Yeah. I think that's best, to pay $2,000 for a graphics card and then another $5,000 for your fucking rest of your computer, and then wait for PlayStation.
We don't pay $2,000
Wait for PlayStation
cards,
games.
Sir. We don't do that. We don't do that.
He made a good point, though. Did you hear what he said? He said, and then wait 2 years for a PlayStation game to show up.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just, PC is the number one waiters here. I don't even understand why they.
No. We're not the number one waiters.
You're not. PC ain't the number one waiters.
Yeah.
You know what's funny,
No,
man? And King, I'll tell you, I what was it? 2018, I built a PC, gaming PC. I barely use it, man. I guess when you're born, the years that we were all born, for the most part, like console gaming is just, for me, it's a way of life. Like it's a convenience, it's a comfort. It's enjoyment, right? You say this all the time, King. You're supposed to be having fun. You're supposed to be having a good time. And if you got to sit in an office chair to play a game, hey, listen, if you can do it, props to you.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong.
Nothing at all.
It's okay. Like, space bar, whatever.
Right.
People talk about getting those OLEDs, that are like, $1,000, $2,000.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
so it's like,
hey, you know what kills me? They'll get a 4K monitor and then only do 1440p because they want better frames per second. I'd be like, what's wrong with my guys over here?
I will take better frames though. But look, seriously, like my point is this: is that premium gaming experiences, whether it's on console or PC, cost money. That's my point. That's all.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely agree. Yeah, so I'm just looking here. We kind of touched base on pretty much everything I've got here for the most part. Anything else on the Skyrim Anniversary stuff? Anything about the? I want to maybe ask this one question to anyone who has. I know. Go ahead. I want to also get the Ghost of Tsushima director's cut opinion from you guys as well.
Yeah, well, real quick, I'm kind of surprised that I think I'm not sure if anyone touched this, but I'm kind of surprised that the Anniversary Edition is not on Game Pass. That's
so.
Like, I'm wondering about that. Like, so is that like is it going to be a thing where certain editions are going to be on Game Pass and others are not? Like, is that going to be a thing?
Wait,
like,
can we get some clarity? Can we get some clarity to that? I thought that there were parts of the Anniversary that were going to be on Game Pass, just not the whatever they're charging for. You'd have to pay.
Well, why would you pick and choose though, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, I think it's that the special edition is already on Game Pass. The question is, will you be able to use the Game Pass version of that to take advantage of the discount, or I don't know if it's free or whatever, of that version of it. You know what I mean? Like similar to PS Now. Sony did PS Now and they had Marvel. Yeah. You couldn't do the update, the 4K update with that version of that game. So that's the question about that shit. I can't call it. I mean, it's too shrouded in mystery for me to say what it is. They haven't said anything about it, which is strange. Usually they have Game Pass behind everything they say.
Well,
So
that was my point, King Thresh. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my point. Like I thought everything
Yeah.
would be, like you pay the fee, monthly fee, whatever the case is, and everything's included, right? DLC, upgrades, stuff like that, and that's not the case here.
Yeah, and Microsoft has already said it though. They said that Bethesda's going to operate the same exact way it was operating before purchase. And if
They
you
are.
think
That's
about
true,
how
yeah.
they operated, they didn't have everything on Game Pass. They just put all their old shit on Game Pass because fuck it, let's put our old shit on Game Pass. But they maybe because they want to get these different sales and don't want to, piss anybody off and try to help or hope PlayStation gamers, because that's one of their biggest markets is fucking PlayStation gamers or PC. They want to make them feel, I guess, like they're not getting fucked or something. I don't know, but I do know that they did announce that they will be operating the same way they operated before the purchase. And I mean, it's simple. I don't even think they're on the list as far as Xbox Studios or something like that. They have their own section.
But what exactly, King, is being charged? What are Xbox Game Pass owners being charged for this anniversary? Is it because there's 500 some odd mods that are made by the community? That's included. You get that. You get a couple other things.
Yeah.
But what is it? What's the actual charge for? Is it the upgrade itself? The enhancements?
No. I'm
asking. I'm not telling.
I know you get charged for the Game Pass. Game Pass for the content creators, like the 500 different pieces of content from gamers.
Yes.
That were made by gamers, different mods. I know that's part of it. I know that the PS5 and Xbox Series X upgrade isn't part of it. That's supposed to be free. But that's the only thing that they said was free. From my understanding, I thought fishing was paid too.
I don't think we should need a lawyer or some fucking crystal ball to figure out what's in Game Pass, or what's not. You know what I'm saying? I'm
thinking about the soccer moms.
Yeah, soccer moms.
The soccer moms.
As fuck right now.
9Lives says Creation Club DLC and mods are what's included, right? 9Lives. If I'm Guapzilla's here, he says you don't get the 500. He says you don't get the mod. That's what I'm saying. You got. And by the way, Guapzilla and 9Lives.
No,
I'm not.
read that.
I'm just saying I don't know. Guapzilla says you're charged for the mods. The next gen upgrades are in Game Pass.
All right. So when I loaded up, what was the last one? Forza Horizon. It was 4, right? Whatever the last one was.
Yeah, 4.
It was like I was watching. I don't know. When you click on a website and it has all those pop-up ads, that's what happened, Mike, with the DLC that is not included with that game. I just don't understand why certain things aren't included with the Game Pass. It's like you're getting Game Pass Ultimate, and this is a first-party experience. Why do I have to pay extra for DLC? Or you know what I'm saying? It's not like if I pay for Netflix or whatever, it's not like Stranger Things will give me 8 episodes, and then if I want that DLC episode, I got to pay extra. It's like, nah, the shit's included there. You know what I'm saying? That's essentially what's happening.
You do got to play 4K extra for Netflix, so.
You do got, but you still get your content.
Yeah.
You know
no, you're right. No, but I bring that up because that was a Ghost of Tsushima director's
I was thinking that.
Oh yeah, Ghost. What about the Ghost? I'm a big.
Let me.
What's up?
Oh, go ahead. Go first. Go ahead.
I'm just a big Ghost of Tsushima, fanboy, if you want to call it that, because I platinumed that game and just enjoyed every morsel of that game. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just visually one of the best. Side quests, one of the best. Like every situation in there, like the way that they lead you to different quests, petting foxes, the free multiplayer expansion.
I like the pet foxes.
The combat.
I had to go somewhere with that, man.
Don't worry.
It's just good, right? It's good
I had to go somewhere with that.
Has anybody started up the new DLC yet?
Hold on one second.
I just loaded it up for like 5 minutes.
I have.
I downloaded it. I have it. I haven't started it yet. So just for people listening in the audience, because I know there was a lot of Sony guys here.
Ishi Island is incredible, Mooch.
Talk to me about it, Worry. But now, when you launch the game, is the island a part of the map, and you can just
no. It's part of the map. It'll show up, but you'll start off. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. So you're still on Tsushima, and you have to do something to get to that island. And once you get there, I'm telling you, it is amazing looking. I can't believe that this is built running on a PlayStation base console, PlayStation 4. I mean, that's a testament to why their developers are the best in the business. It's incredible.
Wow.
So it's incredible.
And don't forget
the
though,
PS5 features.
Yes, the PS5.
Here's
now,
something. Here's something. Yeah, the haptic feedback, it doesn't kick in until you get to Ishii Island, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
Because once you get to that island, then you start using these extra features in the gameplay that require that haptic feedback.
Oh, that's
but
sick.
it doesn't go away when you come back to Tsushima. But I'm saying when you start the game, like for me, I was looking for it. I'm like, wait, where's the haptic feedback? When you get to the island, there are a couple of things you have to do when you get there that are new gameplay mechanics that are incredibly cool. And you start to really feel that haptic feedback. And when you use the bow, it's unbelievable when you pull back on that right trigger. Unbelievable.
This is you got me all excited now. I downloaded it before the show because I wanted to play it after.
People think that you're capping for the DualSense.
Not at all.
When people talk about it, literally until you pick up a DualSense controller and then you experience the resistance on the triggers. It's something like it's a sensation that because your brain's just electrical signals, you know what I'm saying? So
you know what else too, Salty?
What's up?
When you pet foxes now, the controller vibrates really hard. So I take that controller and I jam it down between my legs. It's unbelievable.
That's a feature. Was that extra or was that DLC?
Listen. I paid $5 extra for that.
You paid an extra $5.
Hey,
what do you got, Chris?
Absolutely.
I'll say this about Ghost. Like, there's a few things that I think people got misconceptions about, like the price and the $10 extra and all that. It's not. Let me help. I'm trying to coming from business, man. I'm just laughing at everybody who talked about that like that. It's not $10 extra. It's $10 cheaper, and people not realize PlayStation 5 games are $70. PlayStation 4 games are $60. So they didn't charge you $10 more. They didn't charge PS4 $10 more. They charged them $10 less. So they're just going by what they go by as far as the precedent that they want to set for PS5 games. Sure, you can call this a PS4 game. It has all the fucking upgrades that the PS4 doesn't have. But you didn't get charged for those upgrades. You didn't get charged for 60 frames. It was already there. It was already there free in the backwards compatible mode. You're getting charged for the content that comes along with Director's Cut. And the only reason why it's $10 more when you go to PlayStation 5 is because PlayStation 5 games are $70. That's why. So they're not charging the PS4 gamers $70 because PS4 games are $60. You got to stay consistent in what you want a game to cost on your console. PlayStation is like our fucking AAA games that we work hard on is $70. That's what it is. That's the cost of what we want out of the artwork that we put together, and we are nobody to tell them what they should charge us for their products. You can't do that to anybody on this world, including yourself. You're not going to.
Well, you know what it is, though, but King. I'll take a step. I'll go a step. I'll take that. I'll take your comment there. I'll just to put it on the other perspective. I agree with what you're saying. However, if the product is good and the price is right, people will buy it. That's the thing. It's not necessarily that we can't tell. Let's put it this way. Let's say they charged. This is ridiculous. $100 for this. Ain't nobody buying it. Right? Because they're gonna be you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. But or what if they charge $10, but it sucked? You still ain't buying.
And then you don't buy.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You make that choice, but it was there.
This is a quality product for that price. I think it's a fair price, and I think it's a quality product. You know what that means? It's a buy.
Thanks.
It's a buy.
Yeah. I think we've been getting away with murder all last 10. I mean, God of War is worth $70. The Last of Us 2 was worth $80. God damn it!
God of War is worth $200 for me. But
I'm saying getting over in comparison to everything else that came out that gen. I mean,
nothing bad about God of War.
And I'm not saying that it's good or bad. I'm just saying that you can tell that these people worked extremely hard on their games. They worked extremely hard. You can just look and feel it, and it's just extremely hard work and passion. And I believe they deserve to get paid for that. Man.
Well, I'll say this, Mark. Shout out to Nine Lives. He says you have to call Geek Squad for the PS4 to PS5 save transfer. Actually, they've just updated that, so it's a lot better now. It's a much easier process. Is it as easy as? I mean, listen, we gave credit where credit's due on this show. Microsoft with their back compat and their cloud saves, they knocked that out of the park. For me personally, I understand people's frustrations, but I've now transferred all the games that people have been complaining about. That's Avengers. I transferred over, did everything for Final Fantasy VII, and I'll do it for Ghost of Tsushima. And I'll be honest with you, I can understand that it's not as convenient as the Xbox, but it's first of all, it's not that big of a deal. Second of all, it's a one-time thing. You don't have to do it every single time you launch the game. I'm here for the gaming experience. If it takes me 5 minutes to play a game on PlayStation one time with a couple of rare titles, and with Xbox I can get in 2 minutes or a minute, bravo! I tip my cap to Xbox. I give them the credit. But I'm not going to sit there and slam my PlayStation controller down on the ground and be like, "How dare you not come up with that idea?" That's not a deal breaker for me, 9Live. So I understand your point, but I don't think that would stop you from playing a good game.
I think what it comes down to is consumerism. You know what I'm saying? Like like the value of things is in the eye of the beholder.
Yes.
Like you could see something as valuable and other people wouldn't. An example of this is sneakers, for example. Some people are paying $500 for a pair of sneakers. I don't know the most I've ever paid. Probably like
that's me, and I don't wear them.
Yeah, it's just am I a person to say, hey, that's not valuable for you? No, because that for you want to pay that, you see value in that. The thing is like if each of these developers just were independent contractors and they could price their games based off of value and quality, like I was saying before, if you have a game like God of War, I said I'd pay $200 for it after the fact. I'd pay $200 for the new one, because I know that's the experience that I've had that was the best I've ever had in gaming. Now, the whole thing where in gaming we determine a price where $70 for a next-gen game, well, that's just like a broad stroke. It's like, hey, we're going to put that $70 price tag on everything.
Yeah.
Because that's what everybody's going to pay. In reality, it should be just on a case-to-case basis, but that's not what we do in the gaming industry. You know what I'm saying? So,
it's funny you said what you
I mean, anybody that's been playing games for a while know that even $70 is cheap for gaming. You know what I mean? You can go back and fucking Super Mario World costing $89 goddamn dollars, and
right.
You start realizing that gamers been playing. It was crazy. Discs made shit cheaper. The reason why shit's going up now because games are costing more to make, especially high quality games.
Yes.
So I mean, that's just my view of it. You know what I mean? I gotta look at it for what it is. If you were working for a job for 15 years, you would expect a raise at least once. You know what I'm saying? And these games have been $59 for 16 years. Do you think that rent didn't go up? Do you think that cost of food didn't go up? These people deserve to be paid.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. That's what I said even before this generation started. I agree with what King just said. I will say this much, though. I mean, I am the consumer at the end of the day. I don't make money on the product. I enjoy the product. But if they decided, and I guarantee you, I'm going to go ahead and I'll speak for the panel. I bet that everyone here agrees with me. If next year they decide that they're going to make certain games $80, I'm going to complain. I'm going to say, no, listen.
Oh, yeah.
Right? No. You know what I mean, King? I'm just doing the other side of the coin here. I'm saying that I agree with you. It was $60 for the better part of 2 decades. Okay? So at this point, everything goes up. Gas, clothing, everything, food. I mean, did you guys see during the pandemic? Did you see during the pandemic? I believe a 2x4 was for like $10. Like that's crazy, right?
Hey, Mooch, you know what though? Hey, Mooch, you know what? All jokes aside, like my wife, like she likes to build stuff, and like we have like 9 chickens. I got 4 kids, 9 chickens, 3 dogs, or 2 dogs. You probably heard the story before. But like we build like a chicken coop. Oh, we have 3 rabbits too.
Probably costly,
like an enclosure and everything. And actually, like no bullshit. Like lumber, super expensive.
It's soared.
Like it's nuts.
Now it's come down a little, but not
crazy.
Enough.
It's like gold.
No, it's great.
Basically.
Well, part of it's because the housing market's booming and all that other stuff.
But still, when you're talking about what is it there? Just basically ply. Like if you have a huge, like a massive piece of ply, used to cost like $10 or $8. Now it's like $24. I mean, it is.
It really, it's insane.
You know, I mean,
I'm from the hood. You know what I'm saying? So bullets are like insane in price.
You say
bro.
bullets?
Like, bullets are like rare, and it's insane. Ask anybody. I put a video out of me going fishing and stuff, and we had guns. We were shooting guns and stuff, and people were like, "Bro, look at those bullets!"
You're like, "Don't shoot that!"
Stockpile.
Hey, you know what? Hey, King, I believe. You know what's funny is I believe that because gun sales went up substantially during the pandemic.
They did because people
Yeah,
were
they
buying
really
toilet
did.
paper and they wanted
Dude,
to wipe
everything.
their ass.
Now it's like what is it there? Like chicken. We went to go buy chicken and steak. Like there was no chicken. I'm like, people are
certain pastas
pasta,
are gone, like
chicken is gone.
rotini's gone.
Believe it or not,
Yeah.
the toilet paper was there. Chicken was gone.
I'll tell you who's responsible for all the chicken being gone. Look, you know what? No, I don't want to lose my black.
You're like,
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to give our secrets away.
Yeah,
You know
okay.
what I'm saying? I don't want to give. You're gonna label me like 6'9" or something. I'm over here snitching. I'm just leave it alone.
Oh,
Shit.
my goodness.
Yo,
That's
but listen,
funny.
yo, this has been a great show. I do have a couple super chats here, and then we'll do some outros here. Shout out to Gamer O'Malley. He says, Mooch, we, in quotes, all called this BS years ago. He says, Game Pass has become synonymous with low-quality fodder. If Halo had 2 meat sales target, would it launch like this? I'm not sure what he's actually asking. If Halo had 2 meat sales target, I don't know.
They had to meet.
If it had
they
if it had a
sales targets.
if it had a sales target,
A sales target?
like if the sales target was 500 million, if that was the target,
Oh,
would it
well,
launch
talking
like
about
this into Game
That's
Pass?
talking about Warriors meat. Talking about
Right.
meat and sales expeditions.
if it had a
At
meat,
At this
okay.
point, my meat is cheap.
Let me
I
scroll
think
up
he's
and
stuck-
I can't even find that. Wait, what was the question?
He's saying basically if Halo had a sales target, like a number,
Oh, had
Yeah,
the meat.
yeah.
would it launch
Uh-huh.
like, I know it just didn't read
If he
right
was
to me
held
either.
accountable,
Would it launch like
basically.
this?
No, that's why Ghost of Tsushima launches complete. That's why Horizon Zero Dawn launches complete. That's why God of War launches complete.
great
because
question,
they have sales
Gamer.
targets they need to meet.
That's
Mhm.
yeah, that's a whole different type of game. I mean, it's free to play, so you obviously wouldn't have a sales target because the multiplayer is free to play. That's going to be the big
You get-
draw of the game.
You guys realize that it is a motivating factor for these developers to do good products with PlayStation, because if they hit goals in terms of Metacritic and other things, they get bonuses and stuff. The thing is that's a motivating factor for some of these companies, devs, if they actually get treated right, to put out
Yeah.
a quality product, So
Yeah, it's that, and if you want to eat, I mean,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
if you don't meet
You
meet the
out.
bottom target, it's gonna be a
Yep.
problem.
Yep.
So you got to meet that. Yeah, the target is really important in this industry.
plus,
Well,
like,
in any industry, anything to do with money, if you got to meet a target, you got to meet a target. So
yeah, talking about meat sales, I'm thinking like New York Strip. I love that.
yeah, that's
type
what I
of
was
meat
thinking.
sale.
I'm like,
I was
meat?
thinking,
Yeah. And we
you
just
know,
finished talking
a
about
good
chicken.
New
so I
York
was feeling
strip,
that.
slap that on the grill. Shit, I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah,
Shout out-
it's
Shout out to
about the
Gamer
meat
O'Malley.
sales.
Great question though, and I think Worry nailed that. It's exactly it. It would not ship in this condition. Absolutely not, because it wouldn't hit that mark. It wouldn't hit that target at all. Sir X Man says, for the last time, developers. Great way to end it, Sir X Man. Acute Perspective actually comes back. He says, is new Sony PSVR 2 games raising its retail price? Well,
Who knows?
we don't know, but I would say probably.
PSVR 2 haven't
Probably
even been
be
announced,
70.
but
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
I mean, I think Xbox should have raised their prices.
Well,
That's what I do think.
you know what's fun? Have they mentioned
They
that we don't know what if you wanted to go and buy Forza Horizon 5 or Halo Infinite, we don't know what that retail price will be quite yet. Do we? Or did
No,
they say Halo was
we
going to be
don't.
60?
I think
It's,
you can
it's probably going to be 70.
at-
Psychonauts 2 is
at
60. Right?
59.
It's going to be 60.
Hey, do
Yeah,
you think there'll
I
ever
think-
be a
I
time where
think if they had
Microsoft just
to raise
drops
the price,
physical
they should.
altogether?
Physical.
I
Like
think
their first party games are going into Game Pass. What's the motivation for them to even have physical box copies of games that are
I
first
think
party?
they'll still do it.
I think because the
I'm
Series
willing
X
to-
still has it, they'll hold it for a while.
When they cut
Yeah.
disk drives, that's when they'll be like,
I'm willing to bet that Starfield will be $70.
Yeah.
I think so
I would
too.
agree with that. I think so
Just
too.
the way that Bethesda operates, I'm willing to bet that. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, hopefully it's not right for the gamers' perspective. Hopefully it's not. But from a hardcore gamer's perspective, I'm like, I just want them to be supported, and I understand what's going on around me. So it's like, I would rather support them, and they continue to give me good shit. If you give me bad shit, I'm not going to support you naturally. But if we want good stuff. I want Xbox to put out something better than Ghost of Tsushima, better than God of War. I want them to spit
Yes.
in the face of God of War. And if
yes.
I don't understand under anyone who says different, not a PlayStation gamer, not an Xbox gamer, I want the best, impossible. No matter what, I need Mario to slap the shit out of Princess Peach for cheating with Bowser all this time. I need to see an upgrade on some things. You know what I'm saying? And if I don't see that, then I have a problem, man. I just
you know why Mickey Mouse beat up Minnie, right?
Why?
Yeah, he
fucking
upgraded.
goofy.
She was fucking goofy. He slapped the shit out of her like
Those
what he got
Disneyland
that I
prices.
got.
Those Disneyland prices.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? That
Shit. Have you seen those? My God, take a loan out.
Yeah.
hey,
Crazy.
he slapped. You know why he slapped her? Because he was like, he got a baby mama. He got kids. You ain't seen no slapped her ass up. I ain't got no kids. He ain't did nothing yet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
A cute perspective
Here's
comes
what
back.
it is.
He hits us again, King. He's hitting us. He says, so your logic will be nonsensical on $70 games.
I don't understand what that means.
What-
Is he
that-
paying
what
to
does that
say
mean?
these things?
Yes.
Mooch?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, he
Yes.
is. No, he is.
I
He
don't
is.
understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's the smartest thing he's done.
Let's get back to meat cells.
Shout out to
Right.
shout out to the great Gaming Forte who stopped by, but
Worry.
he wasn't able to chime in. He's still on the clock. He says, "Great show, gentlemen. Wish I could talk, but need to sell some Maddens. By the way, if any Maddens happen to fall off and into your possession by any chance,
Is that a $70 game by chance?
it certainly is.
Oh,
Yes,
shit.
it is.
It certainly is.
Oh, God.
Yeah, trying to try it. I God, I don't know. I haven't
By the way,
played Madden in like 4 years,
I
and I
haven't
think
played
this, I
Madden
may.
since
Hey,
25, dude.
It's been like I think it's been since 17 since I bought it. No, I don't
Hey,
know.
Mooch, I'm going to give a big
Go
shout
ahead.
out to Gaming Forte, by the way.
Absolutely.
Big shout out to Forte. No, seriously, great guy. He actually helped me get an Xbox Series S for my son, so appreciate that.
Nice.
Now I
like
saw you tweet that. I was gonna try and be comical here, but aren't can't you like trip over those things? They're like all over the place.
Yeah, actually, they're pretty small. I was kind of surprised.
No, I didn't mean
They're really
mean
small. I
physically.
love
I
the
meant
design of it, to be
when you
honest.
said he helped you get
Oh.
one. Can't you just like
Yeah, they are
stumble into a
everywhere.
Walmart? Like they're everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I couldn't find one anywhere.
Oh,
I
shit.
actually see them on the dashboard of the Xbox Series S that I have when I go to the hardware. You
Yeah,
can
I
buy them
walked
right from the
into a
dashboard.
Walmart and they're propping the door open with one of them. So I don't know.
Yeah, like
One was holding a
Yeah,
door open at
I was
Subway.
petting a fox. I was petting a fox, and there was an Xbox Series S underneath of the fox.
Was
Hey,
it
you know,
rumbling?
you can find- you can
Right.
find them. There-
I was
there's
actually
a-
trying to sell my meat to the
there's a store you can
fox.
find
Oh.
them shits.
Worry.
Great.
Oh, my God.
That's so
You
great.
can find it.
Hey, Worry.
There's a store you can find it, bro. You can find
We
it
should do it. We
easily
should do a
in-
Crossfire after dark, man. That'd be great.
Yes,
You really
yes.
should with Worry.
Shout out to Gaming
I'm up for
Forte.
that.
Forte, we'll get you on next week. Hopefully, you won't be working, so we can get more comments from you, buddy. Let's do this. I'll go in reverse order. I want to say
Hey,
thanks
Worry,
to the panel in the
I'm
chat.
right now. I'm in fucking tears.
I know,
man.
dude. I'm telling you, Worry is just a gem on the show, dude. I love it. I'll go in reverse
my
order
God.
here, and that is the great Worry Ward 73. Worry Ward, honestly, plug the channel, man.
Yeah.
You are doing content left and right. People need to know where to find you, and I appreciate you being here. As
Salty's
always.
giving me some great ideas for new content, so look
Yes,
look
sir.
forward to that. Warrior Gaming, you can't miss it. It's got the same symbol as my symbol here on the show. I'm old, so subscribe to me. Listen to old people. We know what we're talking about because we're old. You're not going to hear what you want to hear. You're going to hear what you need to hear.
I love it. That's a slogan, buddy.
Love
Put that
that.
on a shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll sell it.
You should. Why not?
Yeah.
Great to have you
try
here,
it.
Worry.
Why
I
not?
appreciate it, buddy. And then I got my
I
buddy
can't
here
even
also.
live stream though, so I got to wait
Wait.
before I can do that.
Wing in a live stream.
You can't until you get like 1,000 subscribers. I think for YouTube they changed the
Oh, did they? Okay.
requirements
They
every
changed
day. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
for live
Wow.
streaming, I guess, King. Yeah. Someone
Yeah.
mentioned that the other day to me. I forgot about that. Try to do it on Twitch then.
So
Unless
I'll be
you don't
live
want
streaming in 2072.
Live stream on your PlayStation.
I
Oh
look
no, you
forward-
can't.
Right. So we went through all these rules and regulations, but the great Saltiest gave me Salt. Appreciate you being here as well, dude. I kind of kept you guys well after the 2-hour mark, and I apologize, but great take from you guys. Great show last night that you guys had as well. Great panel that you have. Let people know where they can find you, and we'll get you back on here real soon, Salt.
Well, I'm gonna be doing some meat cells and then play some Ghost of Tsushima, pet some
That's
fucking
nasty.
Had a couple
foxes.
Foxes.
Beat sale.
Jesus,
And I'm gonna
What
make
does the fox say?
I'm gonna be making some pasta. Hopefully, we have some rotini involved here. But that's where you can find me. Saltiest Gaming, 2 words, man. That's it.
That's my man, Salt. Appreciate that, Salt. Then I got King
Yep,
Fresh.
yep.
King, it worked out. I don't know what you did on your
Hey.
end in Discord, but it worked out, man. And it was a hell of a
worked,
show, bro. So,
I'm
listen,
literally sitting here cold, bro, trying not to move and mess it up, man. I'm telling you now.
I love having you on the show, man. Listen, you got to let me know. I know that you're on the road. I see a lot of your videos. You're always doing videos on the road. Let me know when you're back in town or when you can. If it's next week, the week after, you just talk to me. We got to get you back on the show. So, King, let people know about your channel, even though you always say like, subscribe, don't subscribe. Let people know where they can find you, and I can't wait to get you back on, brother.
All right, bet. You can find me here right now on Mooch's channel, so subscribe to that nigga and hit the like. I do not endorse my channel anywhere else but on my channel, man. When I'm here for y'all. I'm not here for me. I'm not the type of guy who's trying. I don't try to grow my channel, man. My channel grows itself. It's like a weed plant. You know what I mean? You just water it.
Well, now I feel like shit.
You know what I'm saying? That's all good. It's all good. So if you don't know where to find me, then fuck you. But if you do know where to find me, then I'll see y'all on Saturday. We do a roundtable podcast. So,
dude, listen, I listen to his roundtable. I listen to his roundtable. People will do super chats, and then he yells at them for the super chats. He's like, stop with the goddamn super chat. And he goes, if you think you're going to give me a super chat and I'm going to like you for it, you're sorely mistaken. He goes off on him. It's King is he is a natural, man. He's a unique, and love it.
Man, we're having a serious conversation, and then somebody leaves you a super chat and says, King Thrash, you gay, you ugly, or whatever the fuck, right? And I gotta read it back to him. So I gotta stop what I'm saying. Yeah, they pay me to insult myself. That's how my chat is. You know what I'm saying? They know I don't like it.
He goes, I ain't doing it. Yo, it's so good.
It is what it is.
Yo, man, the roundtable is always exciting, man. Love when you do it. Love it.
It's always fun.
Appreciate you coming through, though, King. And then I got my buddy here, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. BRAP, I would hope that you have a couple of drinks already. It is Friday night. If not, I hope you pick up your pace after the show. But let people know where they can find you, buddy. And as always, great show. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no, great show. Autobots, roll out. No, seriously, great show. I want to say something real quick to King Thrash. King, by the way, I'm really happy that you're doing better, man. I know you were sick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
COVID.
Yes.
Seriously, man. I heard your video, and I heard you talking, and I'm like, yo, this dude's coughing still. And
yeah, that's not easy. That was not easy.
Like it's like King. Like I was, like we've lost like at least I know that we've lost 2 people in the community. Nintendo Guru. We lost what's his face from Iron Lords? I forget his name now. Oh my god, it's terrible. I forget his name. Dizzy. But you know, so this is serious. Everyone just be safe, seriously.
Yes.
Because King, like when I heard you talking, I was like, oh shit. Like I had no idea. And then I heard your video and like you were coughing, you were talking about what you went through. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is crazy.
It's no joke. It is no joke. Not at all. You know what I mean? Like it's
King,
just scary.
You sound, by the way, a million times better than you, when you did that video. And so please, everyone, just be careful, really. I mean, and King, I'm assuming that you're probably younger than me. I'm in my 40s.
No, we close as fuck. I don't even
so, but you know, I mean, like you were like still caught. I'm like, holy shit! Like this is.
And King, man. It affected for over 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, I still get different. Like I get, my body will react weirdly. Like it'll like gasp for air for no reason. I mean, no reason at all. I'll just all of a sudden be like, and then that'll be it. And I'm like, what the fuck is? But it's normal. That's normalized now. You know what I mean? Like it still affects you.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, so we lost Dizzy, we lost Nintendo Guru, and so when I heard you were sick, I'm like, oh my god. And you know, King, hopefully you're going to the doctors, man. I know you sound like you still have some like residual from that, but just everyone, please take care of yourself.
Yes.
Yeah,
take it serious.
Shout out to everybody who hit me up, man. I mean, I even had phone calls of people I didn't even know who had my number. You know what I mean? And I mean, my inbox is still full of shitty PlayStation here, Twitter, everywhere, Discord. I mean, people were giving me remedies. They were doing whatever they could, man. There's nothing more I could say except thank y'all. Without y'all, I mean, honestly, I used to hate when people would say that shit. Without y'all, I wouldn't be here. I mean, shut the fuck up, lying and shit. You know, I used to say that shit. But that shit does help a lot, man. It does help a lot, man. If you know somebody who's sick or whatever, like, give them a shout out, do something, contact them, whatever the fuck, leave them a message. But that shit does help. You feel like, because with the COVID, man, you feel like nobody's in your corner, bro. So Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Take care of yourself.
I'm kind of glad that King said that, and BRAP, I'm glad you brought it up. Like, to be honest with you, that's one of the things, we all kind of give ourselves a lot. We all give ourselves a lot of shit, in the community. But at the end of the day, man, you put all this aside, we all hang out, people grab a couple of beers together. I guarantee you the two people that say they can't stand themselves the most on Twitter probably become best friends in real life. So we are all people. We all realize that. So like you say,
I had plenty of Xbox fans. I had fucking Kid Smooth hit me up. I mean, just a lot of Xbox fans too. It's like, at the end of the day, it's just we gaming, but we you don't want to say it, but we all love each other, bro. We are all
that's a fact.
Gamers. We all have the same love, man. We do, man.
No cake. Seriously, like I just just seeing like what happened with Dizzy and and Nintendo Guru, and then I'm like, holy shit. And then actually, and even Mr. Badbit, he got sick for a little bit too with COVID.
Yeah.
And, it knocked him out. So my point is just be kind to each other. At the end of the day, we're all gamers. We love gaming. That's the common bond that we have.
Fact.
And don't stop talking to people because they go on other people's podcasts 1 or 2 times.
Oh,
this is true.
Yeah, don't do that. That's great advice, Worry.
Right. Yeah.
No, it is. Yeah.
It's great advice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Worry, I love it.
And Worry's meat. No, I'm gonna talk about that. So long outro, BRAP outro. I'm sorry. I just want to address that because I saw King's video and I was like, oh my God, I just I could hear it in his voice. And I've never heard you like that, King. And it resonated with me. It really did.
Yeah,
but that's how, what? It's funny.
I was feeling like one, man.
King, I saw that video and I'm thinking to myself, this man is dedicated. Because it wasn't even a short video. It wasn't even like a 6-minute video. I think the one you're talking about is when King was in his car and it was legitimately King was that was over 20 minutes.
Oh no, not that one. Yeah, he's talking about the one. It's one, and it was long too, I believe. How long was it?
No, it was long. You were talking.
It was long too.
He almost died twice. And I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I saw the one when you were in the car and you were still coughing and like you were like, listen, you're like, whether you can hear me or not, it's the best I can do right now. And you went off on it. I think it was one of your abandoned, which by the way, I wish we could have got to tonight. I would have loved to have heard your abandoned, like everything you have put together, man. That shit, man, I don't give a shit. If people say it's a tinfoil hat, then make one my size. You made some sense, man. That was some logical stuff. I liked how you put it together. Yeah. But that was when I heard him, and I was like, man, he is dedicated to get this information out. He's still not feeling well at all, and he's still making this long video. Like it takes like 6-minute video, one thing. 25-minute video, that's a whole nother world.
Yeah.
So
props, you know what though, King?
Props to you, King.
King was it? I also thought that it was important for you to kind of share that experience with people.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because there's people out there that don't take this stuff seriously, that don't want to get vaccinated, wherever the case is. Don't want to
cover their mouth or anything.
Yeah. You don't want to wear a mask. And dude, like I could hear it in your voice, man. I'm like, wow. Yeah. And so I'm seriously, I'm happy you're doing better. You sound much better.
I am. I'm doing way better.
Yeah.
Way better.
Yeah. So
I can actually walk around.
Yeah.
I think when I made that video, I still couldn't walk around.
It's crazy. Like I've never heard anyone articulate. Like you're like imagine walking to your bed, like to the bathroom. You said.
Yeah.
And you were like, I had no energy. I'm like, holy, like I can't even.
It was
imagine,
like running 5 miles
to the bathroom. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. It was like running 5, literally, bro. I mean, that's the best way I could describe it. It was literally like I ran 5 miles. You breathing hard, you sweating, like your energy is all gone. It's like you ran 5 miles nonstop, and all you did was walk 5 feet.
That's scary as hell.
That's just
scary,
crazy.
Man.
Yeah. It's why I'm trying to tell people, man, because I never heard nobody describe it like that, and I had a lot of messages and people asking, so I feel like I had to do it because I don't want nobody else to go through what I went through. I just don't want nobody else to go through it, man. So
yeah, no, that I mean, yeah. So no, it's great seeing you, man. I'm glad you're feeling better. And Mooch, I'm sorry, I know it's a long-winded outro.
That's a typical BRAP outro. I was gonna say, King's probably gonna say.
It's only been 2 hours.
King's probably gonna say, BRAP, if you go any further, you're gonna like make me relapse. Go ahead, BRAP.
Yeah.
So Mooch, always a pleasure. Basement Radio Arcade Podcast live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So check us out. And Mooch, always a pleasure.
Appreciate it, bro.
It's great seeing you on, man. You know what? It's funny, Worry. We go back like 6-7 years, I think, man, in the podcasting space. So I'll never forget Vlad and you in Southbound when.
Can I just say something real quick, Mooch?
Yeah, go
Sure,
ahead.
please.
BRAP is the absolute worst person to end a show.
I knew that was
just doesn't
coming.
shut the fuck
I was like,
up.
why'd you
He
say
never
that?
stops
He
talking.
loves it. He loves it. This is
He's
what
like,
Brap-
"We're gonna end the show now."
You know-
he's like, we're gonna end the show now. Can I just talk about something real quick? And it's like 7 hours later.
Brap does this during the pre-show too. He'll be like, "Oh, listen, one more thing real quick." I'm like, "Brap, we're already 7 minutes late. We're 10 minutes over." He's like, "Just one more quick story." And I'm like, "All right, it's
I
like
gotta go pet the
7:15."
fox, BRAP. Come on, man.
Shout out
I'm
to Brap.
shutting up right now. I'm going to shut up right now.
We
I'm
love you,
done.
Brap. We love you, Brap. Couple quick plugs for everybody that couldn't make it. Shout out to Xbot4480. He works every other Friday, but it's at Xbot448 on Twitter and YouTube. Shout out to the Crap Gamer who had to leave early. He's at _Crap Gamer, and it's Crap Gamer Reviews on YouTube. At Gaming Forte, and check out DPS. He had a great show. Eric Jackson had to leave early. It's at EC Jackson. And the great Optimus Code, who said, Mooch, I absolutely love your show, but it's time for me to eat dinner. That's just the way Code rolls, and I appreciate him
nurse
being
came
here.
in the room with the food.
Right?
The nurse came in the room with the food. It's like, come on, you gotta eat now.
So there it is. You got the great Optimus Code.
My God.
Guys, make sure you hit that
love
like
him.
button, hit the subscribe button, hit the join button, and we'll see you guys next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Peace out, everybody. And Sir X-Man said, if Mooch, you do a Crossfire After Dark, I'm in. Sir X-Man, if we do one, I'll definitely send you the invite. Guys, we'll see you next week, and enjoy your time on Tsushima. Peace.
Yes, yes.
Oh, my God.